Page. Mine, what time do we do the presentation to the,
Once we started our meeting,
pardon?
after we do the approval of the agenda, I can. Yes, sir.
Okay.
After you approve the agendas.
Okay. Okay. So, we've got a quorum, the roll call determined, we have a quorum, we've done the pledge. Now we have for approval of the agenda, Councilman Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got a couple of changes we need to make. Item 4 on the consent agenda needs to be pulled off, and we're going to put it immediately under new business, call it number 4. And also item 15 under leases, also put it second after number 4, call it item number 15. And with that,
Where are we moving them to?
Right at 23A and B.
well, part of the guy, that's the way she wanted it, so that's all I'll do.
So the order of the agenda will be, you'll do item 23, and then you'll do 24, 23, 4, 15, 24, 4, 15, and then 25.
Yes. And,
Go ahead.
so,
Now I got a question for City Manager. That you and I have discussed about item number 24.
Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem Emeritus, that one, it's properly moved at when it hits the agenda.
When it comes to Thank you.
and,
Thank you, Council.
and Mr. Mayor, we got one more correction. The order of business indicated that we're supposed to have on the agenda opportunity for city council members to discuss any item that could be considered at a later date, and I would put that just above the city manager. And with that, those changes, I move adoption of the agenda as amended.
So that would be item 32A.
Now it's not numbered, it's supposed to be just part of the agenda template, if you will. So,
If you want it before the city manager's agenda, right now you have 32 before that, so this would be that would be item 32A.
no,
Or,
it's supposed to be its own spot, just like the city manager, consent items, opening ceremonies, resolutions, leases, minutes, new business, regular items. It's supposed to be its own category. It's not a numbered item to be considered. We're catching up with new rules, Mr. Mayor, that's all we're doing. And
ordinance or rule?
I just came up with this
If I may,
sitting here, so. Go ahead, ma'am.
so right before the city manager reports and announcements, we're going to do city council announcements and future items. And that'll be on our agenda, according to our governing bylaw. 26.
No. Just got overlooked this time. Well, careful. With that, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, we've had the motion before us to change the agenda and move items 4 and 15 and place them in I guess almost in place of item 24, because if we might move that later. At the time we get to that, we might, so it would be after 24A and B. Okay, we call it 24A and B. That's item 4 is on 24A, and item 15 would be 24B.
I'm required, whatever you want to do.
Well, we just have to, so you can follow it. Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Corn, a second by Council Lady Halverson, or Arnold, excuse me, Arnold, so, clerk can call the roll.
Counselor Corn,
Yes.
Counselor Madruga,
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand,
Aye.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson,
Yes.
Counselor Halverson,
Yes.
Counselor Gass,
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
There were 9 affirming, none to 0. The agenda has been set. And okay, next we were item number 2, the approval of the consent agenda. Have Councilor Corn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the consent agenda items number 3 through 19, absent 4 to 15, because we pulled them off.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. We, according to our rules that we adopted, so this is the script.
Now you're giving it to me.
Mr. Mayor, yes.
That's what they are script.
Oh. Okay, the consent agenda is before you. Are there any items any member wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Is that, and yes,
No.
and we've already removed
They're
those.
already removed.
So, okay, those are done. Okay, we've had the hearing. Is there anything else requested to be removed? Seeing,
You got it.
It's done.
okay. Okay, so we've already done that. We've approved the consent agenda. Okay, so are there any objections? It's too late.
You crushed it, Mayor.
You got it.
These new rules are terrible.
No, they're great.
Okay. So we've done that, so it now be the proper time for our proclamation. For the proclamation, number 20. If we could go to item 20, please. And if we had, would you like to read this now? If we could have, this is for a proclamation for appreciation for Judge Baldock. If you and your family would like to come up, if we would appreciate it, or if you don't mind.
Can I get the key for you? Can you give him the key?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, where would you like for us to stand?
Just come up here if you don't mind, and behind the podium there, if that's all right. She's a quick reader.
So I'm just going to read you this proclamation. Whereas it is with great pride that we recognize individuals who demonstrate exemplary dedication to the community and to our country. And whereas Judge Bobby Ray Baldock has served with the city of Roswell and the state of New Mexico with distinction, embodying the ideas of justice, integrity, and service. And whereas throughout his career, Judge Baldock has earned the respect and admiration of colleagues, attorneys, and citizens alike for his unwavering commitment to fairness and his tireless work on behalf of the citizens of Roswell. And his steadfast service has significantly contributed to the betterment of our judicial system and has left an indelible mark on our community, and whereas Judge Baldock contributes extend beyond the courtroom, having been an influential leader in various community activities and programs to promote civic engagement, education, and the welfare of our citizens. And whereas in recognition of his dedicated service and contributions, the city of Roswell, it is fitting that we honor him with the highest accolade that our city can bestow. Now therefore, Mayor Tim Jennings, the mayor of the city of Roswell, does hereby proclaim this day, February 12th, 2026, as Judge Bobby Ray Baldock Day in the city of Roswell, and they present him with the key to the city as a token of his appreciation for his steadfast service to our nation and his compassionate dedication to our community.
Please be seated.
It's gonna be a long one.
I've always shared with everybody that the greatest mistake you can ever make is either to give to a lawyer or a judge a microphone. I'll try to keep it short because the proclamation that I just received is greatly appreciated. My wife and I have been here. I met my wife and she was in the 3rd grade and I was in the 4th grade. On the east side, matter of fact, East Side Elementary School. We've both been Roswell almost all of our lives. And in all of our lives, come June of this year, we will have been married 70 years. Wow. And she is the one that has propped me up, if you want to know. So this key, I don't know which half she'll claim, but she'll claim half of it for sure. To the council, I thank you because I've had the privilege of swearing several of you in the time you took the office. The key to the city really belongs to you as the council members of this great city, Roswell, and to the mayor. You've taken on a position that certainly doesn't bring you much besides grief and accusations, but I, for one, thank you very much for the opportunity that we have to live in your guidance and your direction. I want to introduce 2 more people, 3 more actually. Linda Brown, who she just retired as my judicial assistant. Maureen and her husband Ted. Where is Maureen?
She's taking
I'm behind you now, Judge.
That's the problem being an old judge is that you lose the
She's
people.
right over there.
Oh, there she is. Anyway, thank you, Maureen.
Thank you,
She's
Judge.
my current judicial assistant. Now, the only other thing I can say is that thank you, each and every one, for this key really belongs to you, your dedication to the city. It's an honor and a privilege, first to receive it, but also known to be a resident of the city of Roswell, New Mexico. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. You know, it's kind of being, I wish Councilor Cavan was here because we're both children of lawyers and attorneys. Actually, they're not lawyers, they're attorneys in Roswell. And that we've all, Councilor Cavan and I have grown up together with the lawyer. You knew every lawyer in town growing up, and it was a wonderful experience. But, you know, when you look at that, when you look at his judicial career, and from being a lawyer and then going on to on the federal bench and then to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, the next stop is the Supreme Court. And, but when you look at Judge Baldock, I've had the privilege of knowing him and living about 5 houses from him for, more than 25 years I lived there, and I was his water man, and I also handled all his trees and trash. So I've known him, I got to know him real well, but I didn't have to dig through the stuff that he put in out there. But he and his wife are fantastic people. They are great neighbors. They always look after the community in every way that they can. And he and another man that was from Hagerman, and Jimmy Langford, were great friends. They all lived in South Springs, and it was something that I really got to learn when I moved to South Springs, how close people in one neighborhood can get. And but from the beauty I've seen, what these people have done for everybody in our community, they're truly an asset to our city, county, and state. And you know, when you turn around and you look, sometimes I have a niece that was lucky enough to law clerk for Judge Baldock. And I can't tell you the people that have ever law clerked for him know and truly love and respect him. He just had his birthday, 2 Saturdays ago? And so he's kind of humble about that, but then sometimes you don't want him to know how old you really are anyway. But he is a fantastic jurist, and that's probably something to be recognized by your own profession. And they certainly did that when they appointed him to as a federal judge and then to the Court of Appeals. I mean, he is a fantastic attorney, and we are honored to have you, Judge, and thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for always swearing us in. When it was my turn to pick, I always asked for you because the great amount of respect my father had for you, I can never forget that, and Mr. Kaplan as well. You have always been known as really a lawyer's lawyer, because you know, and you make really good, courageous decisions, and you stand by the very oaths that we take in the Constitution of the State of New Mexico and the Constitution of this country. Thank you very much for your service.
By your name, Monkey and I would like to be excused.
Yes, sir. You may go now. I can talk as long as any of you, well, anyway, I better be quiet. Thank you all. Okay. So now we're
Page 20,
20.
Bobby Thompson.
Bobby Thompson for an airport update.
I'd like to talk about a tough act to follow. Good evening, council members, Mr. Mayor. So for your airport updates today, I would like to talk a little bit of the past, a little bit of the present, and some of the future. So when we talk past, I'd like to talk about buildings 115 and 66. Those are the 2 buildings that have burned. On 115, we thought that would certainly be under demo at this time, but the former leaseholder for that building has hired a company to do some salvage of some of the precious metals in there. There's some titanium and stuff in there. We're waiting on that company to let us know when they will be doing that. We've actually requested that they start to move a little faster on it, but we've also requested that they provide general liability insurance before they start that process to protect the city, the airport, and for the citizens. On building 66, we actually, yesterday, we talked to the New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund, our representative there, and then we had an update for him this afternoon. He's talked to his folks, and, well, the air seal would like to get in there. There's still some equipment and stuff around that building that they would like to salvage. The New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund would still like to do some investigation of that site. They will do it on a day-by-day basis on whether they can get into there. We still have to restrict access to it. And again, there we will want them to provide general liability insurance as they go onto that site and make sure that we're well covered with that. One of the things that we did discuss was the fact that they go in there at any point in time, right now, without permission, it would be considered trespassing until our insurance company releases that for them to take a look at. The ATF that was here for several weeks before did their investigation, left. They still have some forensics to get back from the lab. They have not determined the cause of fire, only where the fire started at this point in time. Be happy to answer, of course, any questions about that. I would like to let you know that our December passenger boardings were 6,315 in 2025. That compares to 3,486 in 2024 December. So you can see our traffic's growing. I was asked the question of how can it be growing if we have fewer flights, which they had 3, but they are bringing in larger equipment at this point in time. The staff last week completed 3 days of FAA training with the Airport Certification Manual. Now the Airport Certification Manual deals with Part 139 or air carrier airports. Now that manual is over 400 pages long. It includes not only the regulatory things, how to mark runways, how to inspect runways. It includes our emergency plan. It includes our snow removal plan, which we definitely got to use recently. So there's an awful lot of activities in there. And then it constantly has to be updated. And we're happy to know that all those gentlemen were certified and qualified in that training. So if you pull up that photo. And speaking of snow, if you look at this photograph, we have between 8 and 10 inches in various parts of the airport. Now we're always thrilled to know that we have all that beautiful pavement at the airport, but when things like this happen, it is a problem. On Saturday, if you remember of the snow event, we had ice storm. Well, there's nothing much we can do with ice. We don't have deep icing fluids and stuff that we use at the airport because it's such a rare event. So after the ice built up on Saturday, we had to close the airport Saturday afternoon because braking action was what they would call nil on the runway. And then of course it started to snow later that day and we ended up getting 8 or 10 inches. But I have to compliment our staff that did just an absolutely amazing job moving all the equipment, talking DOT out of some extra equipment to get some things done. They got the airport open at 5 o'clock on Sunday. We were open before 28 other major airports across the country that are much larger with much bigger staffs. So our guys did amazing. In fact, Carlsbad, which isn't a larger airport, but Carlsbad didn't get open until Wednesday. So our guys are certainly to be complimented for the hard work they did. So we've had NATO here, and if you've seen the big gray aircraft flying around lately, that's a NATO aircraft. It actually has a crew from Germany on board. They had come here to do 1, maybe 2 trainings. It looks like those trainings are going to increase to 5 events. So we're happy about that. The Navy that comes every year is back again. They had 26 aircraft come in this past weekend, and they'll be here 6 to 8 weeks training, and we're always happy to see them as well. Now as we go to the present. Currently we're doing runway striping. We had our Part 139 inspection. Like roads, the striping on runways have reflective beads in them, and after a while those beads just aren't reflective enough. So we're having to do all the edge striping, all the centerline striping on the primary runway, as well as on several of the access taxiways for that runway. That's a $348,000 project. And it certainly takes time. We have to be done by FAA standards. We have to finish that project by the end of March. And it's going to be, I can tell you, be a struggle because we weren't able to paint for a couple of weeks because the paint has to have over 55 degrees. So we'll continue to work on that, but I think we'll be all right. We had Excel at the airport this week looking at some additional power lines to get buried in support of safety for the races. We'll work through them to get a bid to bring back to you at a later date. United Airlines has been in the process of hiring now since late December. They still are looking for a lot of people. The hiring has been extremely difficult. As I'm sure some of you realize, it's very tough to find people right now, and they're certainly running up against that. Of course, they will bring people from other bases to work here until they have a full complement of people here. The permanent grandstands are under construction. They're certainly visible, and Mr. Kunkel will talk a little bit more about that when he talks about our projects. And then as far as future, we have a KC 46 is going to be here doing a lot of training from the 23rd of February through the 27th. KC 46 is an air tanker, provides fueling, air-to-air fueling, and it'll be here doing a lot of training. The NATO plane will be back 3 more times. Only this time they're going to come back in an Airbus 319. They actually had some problems with the Airbus 321 they were flying after they left here, so they can bring a different aircraft the next time. And then I'm happy to report, of course, next Tuesday, we will have the first United flight that comes in from Denver about 10 o'clock, and then about 45, 50 minutes later, it's going to depart. So hopefully some of you will be able to come out the airport to see the festivities we're going to have. We're going to try to make it quite a nice event to celebrate that. And in talking to the United folks in Denver, which is a sister city of Roswell, they have some nice things planned when the folks arrive as well. And then we're finally going to get that restaurant open again. It'll be open, also open on the 17th, and it will have a regular schedule and regular hours and be open 6 days a week. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
We have questions with Ms. Thompson. Councilor Corn.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Thompson, explain to me how you went about opening the airport restaurant, where you got the money, where your personnel cost is going to be, how many people you can hire for that?
2.
2. So explain how that works, because you don't have a line item in your budget presently.
No, with the help of the finance department, we created a line item to support the restaurant and the activities there, and we had money in our reserves to do so.
How much money did you spend?
I don't have that right off the top of my head, but I can certainly get that for you.
Okay. And when are we going to get some kind of accounting for the money that was spent getting ready for the air races? We've been asking for that for a while.
That's actually been turned in and reported previously.
Oh, I must have slept through that meeting. Would you make it up?
But I can, just from off the top of my head, I can tell you, we had the $7,250,000 appropriations from tourism, and we had the $5 million from the DOT, the secretary, to do the taxiway that was accomplished, and that covered the bulk of everything that we did. So, what did it cost us in labor or whatever to put those RV parking places in? Did you what, sir?
The RV parking places, where are we on that? Do we know how many man hours we put in, which departments?
Well, we were very happy that we used the water department. We also used street department. There were several departments that were involved and helpful, and those were all then. Those folks, those labor hours were charged off to the airport.
Okay, but how did that flow? Honey, did you reimburse those various departments for their hours on the job, or?
Well, to be accurate, sir, how about I get a full report for you at the next council meeting?
That would be an excellent idea.
Be happy to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions with Ms. Thompson? I would say Ms. Thompson has accompanied our Mr. Hess and myself, or Mr. Eintman and myself to Santa Fe several times, and we've been very well received. A number of people we're excited about the air races and excited to know they're coming back on the 16th of September. So it was, we had a very nice reception. Yesterday we had 30 minutes with the governor, 40 minutes or something. So it was, and but her staff has been very accessible to us as well. So it was real nice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Kunkel. Thank you, bud.
Good evening, Mayor Jennings and Roswell City Councilors. The AAC had our February meeting this past Tuesday on the 10th. We had all Air Center staff in attendance, Mayor Jennings, City Manager Intema, and City Councilor Hildenbrand. We also had several other interested parties and tenants present. Thanks to all of you for your participation and interest in Air Center activities. Our agenda, as always, was lengthy with 25 items on our agenda. One agenda item, Air Center revenue and expenses, was addressed differently than in past meetings. The Tyler software that the city has used for years is not well designed to present financial information for the Air Center for decision-making purposes. One of our AAC commissioners, Mr. John Hitchcock, is particularly well-versed in financial analysis and accounting since he's a CPA. He's also served as president of Pioneer Bank for several years. John has taken it upon himself, working with Tony Gomez, to see if there was a way to develop and report financial information for the Air Center that simplifies income and expense information and separates out grant funding from that reporting process. He and Tony were able to simplify information reported to the commission. However, even this simplified information is still not entirely usable due to timing of grants and payments to accurately reflect ongoing income and expenses and grants that come through on a monthly basis. The commission thanked both John and Tony for their significant efforts. They will continue to work to develop more usable financial information for the Air Center. Oracle NetSuite is the new software to be put into use by June of 2027. This should assist by providing more usable information for financial analysis to separate operating revenue and expenses from grant information. The ADB lighting and electrical vault project continues. Hopefully most of you remember the information that I provided during the October City Council meeting, but just a quick review. ADB lighting project has been ongoing a couple weeks each month for over a year. This project updates, installs, and replaces the original runway lighting and wiring put in by the Air Force. This process is fairly standard, just extremely time-consuming. However, the new electrical vault portion of the project is much more complicated. The conclusion of my presentation in October was if the existing electrical vaults became inoperative, the possibility existed that nighttime operations at the Air Center would have to cease. The AAC then directed the contractor to hopefully identify a plan that would be a workaround in a worst-case scenario. Because the AAC was insistent that a workaround be developed, the contractor and city staff was able to report at our meeting that the old regulators in both existing vaults are now operational. A switch had been purchased from Amazon, imagine that. And the switch still needs to be wired into the system. However, when that is accomplished, it is believed that nighttime runway lighting can remain operational even if one of the old regulators fails. The new vault and equipment are awaiting the FAA program manager to submit final documents this week to issue the federal grant to proceed with the construction. This is not a firm time commitment, or there is not a firm time commitment to obtain new equipment or construct the vault. This is another good example, though, of AAC commission members' input and follow-through that will benefit the full operational ability of the Air Center. The BLM loading ramp project is completed and ready for the new fire season to improve turnaround times for BLM firefighting tanker aircraft. The BLM taxiway project is about 50% complete. There have been several weather and plumbing issues over the past months. There is currently an issue with an existing underground electrical service line. However, the contractor believes substantial completion should be by the end of March, barring any additional problems cropping up prior to completion of the base course and paving for that project. Taxiway Charlie rehab will follow completion of the BLM taxiway. Same contractor is doing both projects. The airport master plan project is still in a hold position, a hold pattern, awaiting the FAA. Although a new person has been assigned to this project at the FAA per a meeting held in January. Just prior to the meeting, Bobby wanted me to expand a little bit on the seating out there. If you've driven out there, the framework has been up for a couple weeks. They're putting seats in. They've made great progress. And Bobby, you said that should be completed by the end of April?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're a little bit behind schedule, but it's gonna happen in plenty of time. So those are the permanent seating for the air races. That's gonna be finished up by the end of April. The Southeast Waterline project is about 95% complete. Phase 2, the sewer line portion of that project, is expected to be completed by the end of March. The museum taxiway and gate project at the southeast corner of the Air Center is still in the design phase. No start or completion date are available. However, this is not a time-sensitive project. Another project that the AAC has been involved in since the project was decided upon is the restroom project at the terminal. The two large restrooms on the west side of the terminal are substantially complete and have been in use for about a month. I mentioned last month, if you haven't been out there to look at them, it's new, it's modern, and it looks great. There are some punch list items that are to be completed after the east end terminal restrooms are finished. During the demo process in the east end restrooms, it was identified that there were 3 different slab levels in the area where these two that were to be repurposed for 2 new restrooms. Once a new slab floor was poured to overlay that area, work has continued to progress. The wall framing is now complete, and plumbing and electrical rough-in work are being done this week. The contractor still believes he can complete this project by the end of March. The new generator portion of this project for the terminal building has drawings and equipment specs completed. The engineer is working with the city to provide the new generator. This will provide power to the terminal in the event of an electrical service power loss. A couple of items of additional importance are the reason that Dr. Powell, one of our AAC members, was not at our meeting, because he was in Santa Fe attempting to obtain additional funding, just as the mayor was and Bobby Thompson were here recently. But he's obtaining it for additional classes and instructors to keep up with the continued enrollment demands at NMUR. Dr. Powell has done a great job in continuing to improve educational services and opportunities to benefit economic development by providing qualified employees to numerous businesses to assist in job growth in our area. In addition, Carrie Hollifield and her family have agreed to donate a 60-foot wide by 6,000-foot long emergency landing strip for the air races on Brown Brothers Ranch, just west of the Air Center. This extremely generous donation by a member of the AAC will provide the needed emergency landing strip to accommodate 2 additional classes for air races this coming September. My last item of information is a reminder to the City Council of the special audit report that was dated July 31, 2024, and I read from that report. The city's Airport Advisory Commission plays a crucial role in discussing airport-related topics and making recommendations to the City Council. The Commission has been actively involved in various projects and initiatives to enhance the Roswell Air Center's operations, infrastructure, facilities, and community engagement. While the Commission has no supervisory or managerial authority, it serves as a vital control mechanism, fostering collaboration between governance, management, and community stakeholders to ensure the effective operation and development of the Air Center. As I provided information on projects at the Air Center and the involvement of all members of the AAC this evening, you've all heard about and formed your own opinions of the value added to the Roswell Air Center by the Airport Advisory Commission and its members. This concludes my presentation, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of Mr. Kunkel? No questions?
I have a statement, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I try to attend all of these meetings that your AAC have. I miss a few, but I want to commend you all for the time and efforts that you put forth to the city to help with the guidance and the future of what that airport's going to look like. And every one of your members out there have done a great job, very diligent, and I think this council, at least I, as a member of this council, appreciate and look for your continued guidance and recommendations of what take place out there. So thank you all, even to those who are not here.
Thank you for your kind comments. We've got a team that we've put together over the years that's, bar none, probably one of the best teams in the city.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Any further comments? Thank you, Mr. Kunkel, for the time you serve and all the members serve. We've had a certain number of challenges at the airport, finding that you have high power or high voltage lines buried 4 inches below the surface without no conduit or anything, just buried. We have a lot of things out there where water lines and things aren't where they're supposed to be, or they show up where they are, and hopefully you're not digging them when you find them. And we've had a few tunnels too. So there's been a lot of things go on at that base that we found. And you know, if it was, the tunnels were one thing that were very unusual, and whether they were connected to the missile silos or anything else, my gosh, who knows? But it was, we have some, every day's a new day out there. And one thing I can say that was not a new day, and that was the work that they did to clean our runways. We have a tremendous group of employees out there, and you know, they cleaned those runways and they've got one big, 15-yard truck or something with a big snow plow and that'll really throw the snow and stuff, but you have to be careful because you have to throw that snow over the landing lights, or else if you hit those or runway lights, because if you hit those, the snow will break them off, so it creates a lot of problems. The staff has to be really conscientious in their work, and to have our runway up and running, it was as much snow as we had, as quick as we had, was a tribute to Bobby and all the team at the airport. And we really have good employees, and you know, whether they were the water department or whoever putting in things for the air show, air races, it's really nice to see our employees, how hard they work together. And it's really a real nice thing to see, and we should all certainly be proud of it. Okay, thank you. So now we have our out-of-state travel by the police department and solid waste. Up and coming, chief.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Councilors. This month's out-of-state travel, the first one's gonna be taken away. The officer's put his 2-week notice. He's going active duty military, so we're gonna scratch that one off. We just didn't do it in time. And then the other one, March 2nd, those 4 officers are going to basic SWAT school. They're brand new SWAT operators, so they'll be going to Garland, Texas for that week. So that's all we have for this month, if you have any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Next, chief. Thank you, chief. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, councilors, this next month we are sending Armando Silva to EBT training in Fort Worth, Texas, so he can start doing his certification for that. And I stand for any questions.
Do you have any questions? We got out easy, thank you very much. Okay, next we have for our public, for items the public wish to speak to the council on, we have 3 members that have wished to address the council. They're entitled to 3 minutes, whatever. We have Victor Silva, yeah, 3305 Riverside Drive, lights in the park. Yes, sir. Oh, no, you don't have to be sworn in. Just on.
Am I good? Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, you're good.
I put it down on my phone so I can say it right. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Victor Silvas. I am a youth soccer coach. I'm here today because we have an issue in our community, which is our parks. During the winter months, the sun sets before 6 for families trying to combat the rising trends of obesity and depression through outdoor activity. This creates a major barrier. Currently, the soccer fields lack any functional lighting. This has forced me to move my practices to the tennis courts, the only lit, safe area available. Despite my players wearing flat shoes to protect the surface and remaining respectful during the practice, the police have been called on us multiple times for simply utilizing a public space. I've seen parents parking their cars in front of parks and playgrounds using their headlights just so their children can play. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a safety issue. By installing adequate lighting at all our parks, the city will promote health, deter crime, and support the youth. And that's pretty much it, just hopefully investing in some lighting for our community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burris. Would you? Anything? You're good? Okay. We've had several opportunities on getting lights, and they've ended up by legislative appropriations to the baseball fields. And Mr. Burris is aware of that, and we're trying to do what we can to get you lights as soon as we can.
Can I answer this?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Burris, are there any parks with lighting that he can practice at?
No, council, not that many. There's, after the flood too, it's, street lights that had kind of shined on the parts. But no, there aren't any. We have Styles football field, which is contracted out, and, just cornfields. So, there's really nothing with lights. We are putting $240,000 of electricity on the soccer fields that the youth uses. And then we have bids for the rest of the lights, so we'll get it started.
Okay, thank you.
We do have the lights, the electricity coming to the.
The electricity's coming, if I have any money left, I'll at least put one light, you know, if I can.
The wheels are rolling.
No, I understand. Just a major concern too, I didn't want to put it in there because I know it's limited to 3 minutes. It's just the police also, how they're, we had practice 5 times. 3 of the times we got the police called on us. One time, I guess he was a member of the Roswell tennis. He was trying to talk to me about it, and I told him I'll happily talk to him after practice. And he actually grabbed me by the shoulder. And there was, the kids actually had like flat shoes. We weren't kicking at the nets, any of that stuff. We were just practicing running drills. I even have a video from like where it was just simple back and forth, passing of the ball, dribbling, things like that. I took my own goal they could shoot at. And we still had the police called on us multiple times just for being in the tennis courts. So, and it's a public space too, so that's a concern because if they're willing to go confront people, imagining kids being in there and them confronting the kids and troubling them to get out of there and things like that.
Councilor Howard.
Did the police do anything? Because I think, if I may, Mr. Taylor, I think they have to go if they're called.
Yeah.
Did they do anything?
One of them allowed me to stay because he couldn't contact the city. So, and he was saying that it is public space and everything like that. And then the other 2, I just explained to them, and we were pretty much finishing up practice too. And, I mean, fortunately, they didn't do anything or any of that sorts, but it's just more so the fact that like the cops are being called on people using public space whenever there's no vandalism, there's none of that stuff.
They can't do that, but I agree with the officer, the public space, is that right, Mr. Burr?
Well, councilors, it is marked for tennis and pickleball only because of the damage to the nets. Victor's team and Victor are very respectful, but that doesn't always hold true. And the nets are about 600 apiece. So soccer, I mean, the Tennis Association and Parks Department replace the nets and all the mechanism for the nets. So that's probably why they called, because it is marked. But to his point, there's no space to play soccer at night, and so that's what we're trying to do, see what we're trying.
How many teams are there?
Youth soccer is the largest league that the city of Roswell has. And it keeps growing.
Saturday morning.
But we might see about getting, if you get some preliminary estimates on what it costs to light it.
I have those at $1.5 million so far.
$1.5 million. Okay, thank you, that's good to know.
Yeah, so County Attorney's up to Santa Fe.
Councilor Gas.
What about using like the outfield on the baseball park on college practices?
That's fine if the soccer coaches approach the folks that have the contracts for those fields. That's fine with us.
Because they're related, so they're not city property?
Well, they're city property, but they're leased out to these different folks, different leagues, and they're responsible for the maintenance. And I've offered Coke Field, but so far south, no one wants to go.
That far south.
Yeah, too far south.
And so Styles Field and the one in college and all those are contracted out?
Right. We've offered the parking lot there at the aquatic center, the overflow by the all-inclusive playground.
Yeah.
So maybe put some cones and barricades there and you know, playing with asphalt there. We're very limited, but there are lights there.
You might want to call one of those basements, especially for younger kids. I wouldn't think you'd work the outfield.
I know one thing on East 19th and some of those fields, isn't it 19th? Across from Westminster, there are a number of, we need to find a gopher exterminated. There's a number of gopher holes in those fields that are really, really dangerous for children on playing, running and playing soccer. And I don't know where we find something, but we need to find something.
Well, that's a true statement, and about half your parachute is trained to travel. So, we send them out to different parts of town all the time to exterminate those little guys.
You know, if you turn down the lights to that field or New Optimus field, do you think it'd light up enough of that park that's in between the two to practice, I would think?
New Knob or the softball field. We put new lights on New Knob.
But those lights light up the parking lot, I think. Do they go far? They don't?
Not very far. The LED is pointed down
Okay.
because of light emissions.
Okay.
But, you know, once again, as long as they're not tearing up anything, they can use a baseball field and get a whole new knob. We don't have any problem with that. It's only because those leagues are responsible for maintenance.
What league is responsible for the big field on College?
Which one are we talking about?
It's the one like Gateway plays on and,
That's the same, that's the one we just put lights on.
yeah, and is that New Optimus?
Yeah, that's new knob, that whole facility through there. But we'll help, whoever comes forward the best we can. And there's a few folks that they're playing on styles, and they said, well, we put a lot of maintenance in it ourselves, and you know, once you start breaking off the sprinkler heads, things like that, the best solution is put lights on that grass over there by where the kids play soccer, both those fields.
Yeah, if you had $1.5 million.
Yeah, but, you know, if there's any volunteers or any donors out there, I'd be more than happy to point them in the right direction.
Unfortunately, I think it's too late to get any of the legislators to see if they can give us any money. I don't know of any that was, any of them haven't heard of any of them that did that, but next year we certainly should.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we have the blueprints and we just contacted Excel Energy, and they've got that on their work list to start putting power that direction, and J&G will take it from there.
and we also, Counselor Johnson also said daylight savings time's coming pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that,
That helps, because you guys start right after school and then it gets dark and then it's like worthless, so.
There's also basketball courts in some parks, and that would prevent and deter people from the tennis courts because there's no net in the middle of it. There's like those courts right next to also. Yeah, I know it's the same thing.
We know there's no lights.
Yeah.
You can play soccer during the daytime. I suggested maybe the folks that have kids on those teams get together and rent or purchase a generator and some of those lights you have at construction sites, and maybe they could get you through practice. That's the thought. Until we're able to put lights on those fields.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. So, next we have, Gabriel K. Mata, 615 West Van Buren Street.
Hello, council. I'm just a concerned citizen, more or less a statement. I've been here for 45 years old, and I begin to notice things in town lately. I think my biggest concern would probably be with the schools, in particular, where I live, right off of South Washington, Missouri Avenue School in particular. Every time I pass by, I see the kids, it looks like a project out there, okay? They don't have any space to play. There's no fencing. And they're also sharing their playground with the public. And so I think this needs to be addressed. That's really my big concern. Also I think that, our resources probably needs to be kind of spread out a little bit. I've seen a lot of resources being spent on the north side of town. Not necessarily, I see a lot of neglect, what I would say, when it comes, to the poorer side of town. It's unfortunate for our kids that grow up with a little bit less, and I feel like they deserve to have, the same advantages as our kids on the north side of town. Simple things like fencing around their playground, you know what I'm saying? Simple as that. That's one of the things I'm concerned with, is our kids really. And the next 10 years, where are these kids gonna be? You know what I'm saying? We need to take care of all the kids in our community, and as simple as that. So, that was a statement, but thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Mata. Any questions of Mr. Mata? Mr. Mata, I might just say one thing on the schools and on fencing. That's generally a school function and not for the Roswell school system. And they have capital outlay money, bond money that they vote on every year to improve each school. And Roswell has always supported those two mill levy bonds that they have for enhancing the schools. But as far as playgrounds around the school, that's kind of pretty much their responsibility to do, not necessarily us. Now, the city has always tried to work well with the parks department, with parks and the schools, because there's a park usually around a school. We've tried to keep some kind of park around the school where we are, so there's places for them to be.
I can say, I have spoken with some of the teachers. My mother herself was a substitute teacher for years. And she brought up things to me about the school systems and the buildings itself. It's a new building. But from what I can understand, the kids are cramped in there. They can hear through the walls. Again, you know, if anybody passes by, one school in particular, because I see this by my house. You know, they're out there, it's 100 degrees, and there's nowhere there for them to play. They're just kind of, I mean, again, if you pass by, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I can help but notice the schools that are, let's say for Del Norte, looks like a resort, okay? So, I mean, let's just be real here. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me and probably to a lot of people what's going on here. I really think that people need to start looking into what's going on, you know, again, just kind of spread our resources out a little bit, you know.
Councilor Calvin.
I appreciate everything you're saying, and I agree with you, but I think you need to go to the school board meeting, and I recommend you talk to them and bring it up there, because he's saying we can't.
I understand.
Yeah, we can't tell them how to, but I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cobos, Gabriel Cobos, you'll have to state your name and your residency where you live, because that's a requirement that we have here, but I don't have your address up here, Mr. Cobos, so.
Okay, my name is Gabriel Cobos. I live at 203 Robbins Drive. One thing that I'm calling about is we have an issue with cats. It's become a point where we did get funding to the animal control to spay and neuter and then release. I've made several calls, and then it's like the cats get released, and if I don't want it in my neighborhood, guess where I can ask them to put it? I can put it in the north side of town. Doesn't make sense. If the cat's a feral cat, it doesn't do no purpose. We have issue with rodents. They're not killing the rodents, they're killing birds. They're not killing the birds that need to be, that are an issue, which are what, the grackles and the crows and pigeons. Nothing gets done about that. So that's one issue. Then another thing that I have an issue with is the fact that we're paying rent once again for what right there on West 2nd, how much are we paying a rent, yearly lease on that building?
That being the police department?
No, the new city code enforcement building. That's right there on West 2nd.
The old real estate.
Yeah, it's what, 120,000 a year?
90.
190,000?
No.
That was at the end.
It's 90,000, it's about half of what we were paying before.
Okay. So that's a little bit less than what we were paying. We were paying, what, 112 for the other building next to, right there on the corner of Main and right next to the city hall.
Sunwest Bank,
Yeah, closer to 200, but.
yeah.
Closer to 200?
The building is Sunwest.
I had spoke to you, Jennings, on the phone, and I had that also recorded, that it was around 112, but almost 200,000, man, that's a lot of money.
Well, that was a lease that was constructed before any of us got in here.
Okay.
That was Mr. Kentai's deal.
Well, that money should have never got done. City council should have never approved that for one. That money could have been spent better for our kids. Lighting, for instance. Actually, I can really get to mine, but one thing that I do have that's a big concern is CYP to me too. There was an incident where animal control was called out to a house on New Well. 2 minor children were in the house. This was 6 months ago with
Mr. Kobos, your time's up.
this is very important, 2 minor children that are involved. These children were in a house where there was deceased animals inside the house. Then those animals were taken out. Things were supposed to get better. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, they got animal control, PD got called out there, so D got involved. The schools failed the girls, as far as I'm concerned. I can go into detail about that. But this time, upon arrival, there was 39 cats, 28 dogs. Something needs to be looked into the situation. Why our schools haven't done nothing, because you can be within 8 feet of these wonderful girls, and you can smell the urine from the animals. You need to do something for our kids.
Well, if you can give us, furnish our staff the
I'll get some
address,
information I can to
name and
y'all.
address, and we'll see what we can do to work on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kobos. Is there anyone else that would care to say anything on the public that did not sign up? If you can, please come and, oh, it's so hot. How are you?
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I came.
You have to give your name and.
Oh, I'm sorry.
your
My name is
address.
Vivian Oaxaca, and my address is 3107 West 8th. And I came for a positive thing.
Oh, that's on our agenda, is that? It's not on our agenda?
No, it is.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I talked to her.
Okay.
At City Hall. But anyway, I would like to, I'm trying to start a new program that is geared towards getting people to volunteer to help seniors. And it's called the 50-Yard Challenge. And we're gonna ask the public to sign up to do yard work for seniors free of charge. And then we're gonna ask seniors to sign up to have their yards done. For each yard that a person, an individual, or a small company does, they'll get 1 point. And that's where the 50-yard comes from. When they do 50 yards, they'll get a prize. And initially, I was going to donate a vehicle that I have. And since I decided that, several people told me that that would not be a very good idea, that it would be better to sell the car and give $1,000 to 3 people, to the first 3 people that completed the challenge. And so I've already, I just heard about this on Tuesday and I started plowing through. When people sign up to do a yard, they'll have 48 hours to get it done. I don't want something that's gonna drag on and on and on. If they don't have it done within 48 hours, the next person on the list gets to do it. If they don't show up at all, they get a demerit. If they get 5 demerits, they have to sit out for a week. They can't, and they can only claim 1 yard at a time. I will go and check the yard to make sure that it needs to be done, because I don't want people that do yards to say that they wanna do, if they had a customer that had their yard done 2 weeks ago, to tell them to call in or to get signed up to do it, and then they say that they did it, but they did it 2 weeks ago. I just wanna make sure that the yard needs to be done and gets done, and not, so there won't be any cheating, I guess. So I just would like to know what you all think of it.
Councilor Arnold?
I love it, thank you very much. Yeah, that's kind of what there's been a definite need for community activation in that area when you actually see a lot of constituents in Ward 1 and throughout the actual city. Yeah,
Well,
sign me up and I'll be happy.
I have been a compulsive volunteer all my life. And one thing that I notice is that when I go volunteer somewhere, it's always the same people that are volunteering for everything.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to encourage people to not only volunteer, but to think about the seniors and what seniors need. And one of the things they can do, I mean, it's just for yard work, mowing, raking leaves, and when there's snow, clearing the snow off the driveways and the walkways.
Well, hopefully, yeah, because that's kind of been my thought, is if you know your neighbor needs help, you know, I have actually a lot of people that call me saying, what are you guys gonna do about the weeds and, you know, the hike, and I'm like, have you talked to your neighbor? Well, make sure they're even getting up and getting out. And so I think there's a long way that can go with that. So like I said, if I can do anything to help, please reach out.
I am planning to do a presentation tomorrow at the Joy Center, and I'll also be doing the senior circle. And I've been in contact with several churches to try to recruit the youth departments, and I've had really good feedback.
Councilor Howard?
So somebody was talking about this on the Nextdoor app a few weeks ago, so you might go on that.
That's where I got the idea, but I didn't see it until Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as I saw it, I said, okay, how can I do this? And I just started coming up with the rules and everything and talking to people. And so I just wanted to know what you all think about it. See if I could get your support.
Any further questions or comments? Ms. O'Haga, I might suggest that maybe you check with code enforcement.
I was thinking about that. I was wondering if code enforcement is allowed to release names of senior citizens that might be in violation.
I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, we could definitely, once they find a property that's in need of assistance, we could share her number with those residents and have them reach out to her, so.
Yeah.
We'll add you to the list if I give you true information.
Thank you. Any further comments? Thank you for volunteering, and thank you for coming up with a new idea. Even if it was secondhand.
It was started in Alabama, and let's go to Alabama.
That's it. Okay, I didn't see anybody else. It was up. So next we go to item 24. And this is ordinance 26-01, hold a public hearing to consider adopting the proposed ordinance 26-01 and an ordinance amending the city of Roswell's purchasing procedures. Councilor Cavan was here to talk on that. I believe this is one that some members wanted to move this back. Council?
Mr. Mayor, the internal auditor has made some suggested amendments to this, and we think that this would be better suited for the committee setting with this, where we want to bang out all of the details. And so staff would respectfully request that this be referred back to the legal committee where it originated.
Where it originated, okay. Councilor Hildebrand. Yeah, I know, I just,
live your truth.
Sitting next to you for 4 years.
Live your dream.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we take item number 24, which is an ordinance to hold a public hearing and send it back to the legal committee
Second.
for further
Who's the
review.
second? Councilor Marujo. Okay, on a motion by Mr. Counselor
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Hildebrand, seconded by Counselor Marujo. Is there any further discussion on referring this item 24 back to the legal committee? Voice vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this will be moved to legal. Sorry,
That's okay.
Mr. Hildebrand, I'm so sorry.
My mother was Mrs. Hildebrand.
Okay, yes. Well, that's good. Item 24A is item 4 on today's calendar. And if, you go to item 4,
Which is 94.
page 94 in your book. All right, 5. Item 4, we have, item 4, this is Counselor Cap, pardon?
Mr. Mayor, I'll yield to Mr. Python, if that's all right.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Mayor, this is also, we've had some discussions with counselors and with the fire department about this particular item. It might not be 100% ready for prime time. We don't want to slow it down unnecessarily because part of this legislation would affect our ISO rating. So what we would ask is that the staff would recommend a motion to refer this to the Public Safety Committee.
We have a motion, Counselor Cavan's, can we have, if we could have a,
Mr. Mayor, we need a motion from the, I can't make a motion.
yeah, I know, would anybody,
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. Did we see this in public safety already?
Yes, and I can, yeah, so the idea is that a couple counselors want a little more details. So there's kind of two components to this. There's the adoption of the 2024 code, which we want to need to continue with. And then there were some additions that the city had put in on top of that. We want to bifurcate those and take them individually.
Okay, because I thought we had seen the process.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move that we move item number 4 to the Public Safety Committee.
okay, we have a motion by Madam Halverson, Council Lady Madam Halverson, and to move item 4, ordinance 26-03 to this, back to the Public Safety Committee. And it was seconded by Council Lady Moore. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? By a vote of 9 affirmative, there is, it's sent to Public Safety Committee. Okay, next we go to item 15 on the,
Mr. Mayor, if I could,
yes, Counselor.
I'd like to yield to Mr. Python.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Item 15, I became aware that a number of people had not, so this has to do with the police department move. I didn't fully realize how the current situation, the current building was not financially understood by the committees. Staff would recommend that this be tabled for a month so that we can present you with all the current estimates we have on the building and a possible alternative. This is going to be $380 a year. I'd rather not dive into that too quickly.
So,
Okay, so
Mr. Mayor, you want to table or you want to move it somewhere where you work on it?
The lease is just fine. I just want the council to have more information before they vote on this particular lease. So table.
All right, let's go to public safety. We won't slow it down.
Yeah.
It'll give us a chance to get stuff talked about.
Yeah.
And then we can bring it back.
Public safety's next week, will you be ready by then?
Actually, no, so Mr. Matthews, is it a big hassle for you to add it on tomorrow morning?
If I could get it bright and early tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Okay.
Council lady, or councilman, I'm sorry. Hildebrand.
Third strike, you're out.
I know it, I know it.
We got two. But, Mr. Reitman, we had talked about
We'll
this.
put the correct list there.
The square up on the maintenance costs as well, so that may need to come back, go to public safety and then come back to finance. So it needs to move.
Well, we can get it all done before the next city council meeting. But if you just leave it here on the table, that gets you nothing. So I think that public safety needs to look at it, and then we can move to finance if we need.
Would you be agreeable to have your motion be to go, Councilor Corn, to have the bill go to public safety, then to finance?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, Councilor Corn has made a
Second.
motion for public safety, seconded by, Mr. Councilor Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, if the clerk will call, or well, just a voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have passed by 9 affirmative, nothing is negative. Next, we go to item, 25.
It's yours too.
Item 25, please. And that is, okay, Counselor. Okay, Counselor, with this is to consider approval of lodger's tax sponsorship agreement in the amount of $6,200 to the Galactic, approval of the Galacticon lodger's tax sponsorship agreement. Counselor Gass.
I'd like to make a motion, we consider approval of the Galactic County Lodgers Tax Sponsorship Agreement in the amount of $6,200.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Counselor Gass, seconded by Counselor Arnold, or Halverson, is it Arnold? Okay. Okay, and seconded by Counselor Arnold. Now we're on, that item of discussion. Yes, ma'am, TJ.
I'm just here if you have any questions. So this was presented at finance, and the pending award for the sponsorship is $6,200. They originally asked for $8,000 sponsorship, and at a meeting that I had with the director, Elaine, for Galacticon, we brought that down to $6,200. We cut a couple of her items that she wanted to do for UFO Festival.
Okay, Counselor Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. TJ, you know, Galacticon, do they not charge?
They do. So the items that she's asking for sponsorship are going to be outside, and they are going to be free.
What do you mean by outside?
So usually her convention is inside. So last year she used the building across the street from the UFO Museum. This year, I'm not exactly sure what building they're using, but outside she did have a kid space that had some jolly jumps, as well as she brought down a car, the UFO car, and it was, people were able to take pictures and get inside of it, and it was also in the parade. And they're from, I don't know where they're from, but they're far away. And so she paid for a sign to go on the back of their car for marketing, as well as their trip down.
Marketing to go in and pay to go in.
The car?
You said they got a sign for the Galacticon?
No, they got a sign for the car, the UFO car. So when it was driving down to Roswell, it said, "Follow me to the UFO festival." And it got a lot of traction that way, and a lot of people did come down.
So that's what she's using the money
Yes.
just to pay for that vehicle?
That vehicle, yes, to come down.
Okay, that was not explained to us at
Sorry.
Finance Committee.
Yeah, it was in their packet, their original packet, and that was quite a bit ago. So it was presented to you guys in their application for sponsorship.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Counselor. Any further questions? Okay, we have a motion before us on item 25, a motion to approve the Galacticon tax sponsorship agreement in the amount of $6,250 on a motion made by Councilor Gass, seconded by Councilor Lady Arnold. If the clerk could call the roll. You want to do a voice vote? All right. On a voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? By a vote of 9 in the affirmative, none in the negative, item 25 is duly passed. Next we go to item 26, and that is to consider the Main Street sponsorship of Main Street, approval of the Main Street sponsorship agreement for the UFO Festival in the amount of $102,000 with $56,000 out of lodger's tax and $46,000 out of the general fund. Councilor Gass.
I'd like to make a motion to consider the approval of the Main Street Roswell sponsorship agreement for the UFO Festival in the amount of $102,000, $56,000 coming out of the lodger's tax, and $46,000 coming out of the general fund.
Second. And that was seconded by Council Lady Moore. Okay, on a motion by Councilor Gass and a second by Councilor Moore to consider the approval of Main Street sponsorship agreement for the America 250 Roswell in the amount of, oh no, that's a different one, I'm on 27, I screwed up. Okay, went too far.
Page 301.
Yeah, so, anyway, on a motion for item 26, for approval of the Main Street sponsorship agreement for the UFO Festival, the amount of $102,000 with $56,000 out of the lodger's tax and $46,000 out of the general fund. Okay, so we have that. Any questions or comments from any members of the Councilor Corn and then Councilor Gass?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a couple of questions for Councilor Gass, if you'll yield.
Well, Councilor Gass, would you yield?
Hold on, I'm gonna ask a question.
You're gonna ask me a question?
I'm gonna ask you
Go
a
ahead,
question. So, we just approved $6,200 out of the lodger's tax.
Yes, sir.
And we got another $158,000 out of the lodger's tax. If this passes, correct?
We've got 158 what?
This total amount is $158,000 out of the lodger's tax, correct?
No, we're taking,
46,000.
we're taking $56,000 out of the lodger's tax, and that essentially takes all of our money under financial consideration.
Where's the 102 coming from?
The 102 is 56 from the lodger's tax and $46,000 out of the general fund.
So if we give them this $56,000, is there gonna be any reserve left in the lodger tax?
No, that essentially takes it all off.
We're down to zero.
And that's why, yes, and that's why this motion has $46,000 coming out of the general fund.
Okay, so let's talk about the general fund. So you're talking about $46,000 out of the general fund.
Yes, sir.
How much money are we out of balance in the general fund? Have you done your mid-year review in your committee yet?
Well, we haven't done the mid-year review of the committee, but I did send a mid-year review to all the counselors to look at. It's not totally accurate, but we are in the negative in the general fund. We're essentially spending money that we don't have.
And roughly what's that negative figure gonna be? If you had to guess.
Well, let me pull off my report here. I'm saying that the general fund is gonna be down about $4.5 million.
That's this sheet?
Yes, sir.
So, my sheet you sent, I printed off, because as you know, I'm pretty end of this
Yes, sir.
financial side.
Yes, sir.
Shows 19 million short, so there's been some adjustment, or needs to be some adjustment.
Well, that's in the total budget.
Right.
And there's an adjustment to the airport fund that is gonna give us $9 million back. So the 19, and there's $4.5 million we're gonna get reimbursements, but we're still $45 million total in the total fund that we're down.
And you say we're how much in the general fund?
Well, on this sheet, it said $4.5 million.
Okay.
And the ones we're getting back, we're getting $1 million from the general fund, so that's $3.5 million. And we're getting $8 or $9 million back into the airport fund, but we're still down. Our original budget said we were gonna be $998,000 short for the year. We're closer to $4.5 million.
So you also inquired of the number one thing that the councilors deemed as important to get done.
Yes, sir.
So something simple like a balanced budget, what did that kind of bring?
In the responses I got back from the city councilors that responded to me when I talked to them or sent an email, all of them had it at 1 or 2, as that is the most important thing out of 10. And so, so as counselors, the majority of us feel that's very important. When this was at the finance committee, we had a 4-to-1 vote. I was the one vote against. I just don't think we should spend money on something that's not absolutely necessary for the city to perform when we don't have a balanced budget and we've gone south from where we thought it would be at the beginning of the year.
And we're just halfway through the year.
Yes, sir.
So we got another half the year to go.
Well, this is through January 31st, as I understand it, so.
Okay, so you still.
Yeah, you got 5 more months.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this question, since how you're chairman of finance. In your opinion, or let me state my opinion and see if you agree.
Okay.
My opinion, we can't control the income. The income comes in, it's that. It comes from Santa Fe, it comes from Brad's. We can kind of help that along a little bit if we ever get our audit finished, so we can get our house in order. So the single thing that we can control is our expenditure. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir, although I do think we can help our income, and I think we've done a good job on that with attracting businesses and using our lodger's tax to promote growth in Roswell. But yes, the main thing is controlling your expenses.
So this $46,000 almost buying a police car.
It'll buy 40% of one. We're buying 2 of them, well, no, that's right. They were. Oh, I can't remember the
I said
number.
the car, I didn't talk about the equipment.
Okay, yes, it would. It would buy more than half of one.
I guess in closing, I don't know when. I mean, it's high on most everybody's list to balance the budget, but we just can't seem to get there. I don't know why that is.
Well, I agree with you. The motion I made was from the finance committee, and, I would amend my motion, in my opinion, to take the money out of the lodger's tax. We have given Main Street Roswell $50,000 and $56,000 the last 2 years, as I understand it. And if we gave them the $56,000 this year, I think they could do a good job. But I don't think we should spend money out of the general fund that we don't have. And we haven't had a balanced budget in more than a decade.
2015 is the last one.
And we have got to do something about that, and we might as well start right now.
I yield, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council Lady Halverson.
Kurt next?
No.
Yeah, Kurt.
Oh, Kurt, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Kurt, I thought.
I pretty much answered, said everything I was gonna say in the answer to his questions.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Council Lady Halverson and then more?
So I understand, and I also want a balanced budget, but I have a couple issues. First of all, the lodger's tax is low because of how it's being funded, but we've given 300,000 to the air races, and I'm not disparaging the air races in any way, shape, or form. I think they're a great event, and I think they need to be here. But they charge people to go in. Main Street Roswell puts on the established UFO festival, which everyone expects, that visits Roswell, and their events are free. So there's more money for people to spend in the stores and in the hotels. And Tony, do you have our GRT for, sorry?
I'm sorry.
Our GRT for September, it's July's GRT shows up in September.
Yes.
Do you know what that amount is?
Let me pull it up.
Because I think it almost pays for itself. The event is worldwide known. I mean, we've had people from all over the world come visit. I've been, Japan, China, Germany. We get a huge amount of people that come. If you look at the pictures online, you'll see I have thousands of people all the way from 5th Street all the way to Alameda. You can just see all the people. It's just a sea of people. So we get a lot of people for the 3-day event. So I know this is coming out of the general fund, but I still think it's worth supporting.
Okay, are you through, ma'am?
Yeah, I was just.
Is there any further? Okay, next we had Miss Moore.
I'm just gonna say the same thing. This is a worldwide event and a lot of people support it. It brings in all kind of money from, like you said, it's gonna put some of the money back in the lottery check. It's gonna put some people in the beds, and so I think it's worth the struggle. This 50,000 is not going to balance a $400 million, $19 million deficit, and it's not going to break it. So I feel like we should still support this. Like I said, but this is a big time thing for Roswell, and it's been going on for years, and we want it to be the best. If we want the people to keep coming, we're gonna have them. And I like the idea, some outside, some inside, and they have parade. There's so much going on. They even have the pet shows with the animals wearing the costumes and all that different kind of stuff, for all kind of vernaculars. And so I think, I know we're in the deficit. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Swan, but I just don't think that is gonna break the bank any different than paying all the $7 million for the other things that we put money into. And so I think I'm in support of this. People could be upset about it, but it doesn't matter. I think that brings enough value to Roswell to put that money into it. I yield.
Okay, thank you. Any further, Mr. Mayor, comments? Yes, Councilor Presser.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am also looking at the next item coming up for $150,000, I think. But it's still the list. And the thing is that from what I'm hearing, if we're down $900,000, I believe that's the amount that I heard, or now it's $4 million. Where is this money coming from to finance? I mean, if we don't have it in the general fund, where is this money coming from? I guess it's a question to our Councilor Gatz.
We're just draining our reserves like we've done for over 10 years. We have to stop spending money we don't have. In addition, the Infrastructure Committee had a meeting this week, and we found out that the grant that they presented us the findings, they rated all of our infrastructure in the water department from a 1 to a 5. If they replaced all the 5s, I'd need $92 million next year to do that. And they said, you know, it's so important to do preventative maintenance rather than reactive maintenance, which we've done, because when we have a water line break and we have to pay overtime and weekends and, you know, all this stuff, and we pay an outside subcontractor, it costs us 5 times as much if we did preventative maintenance. And they said that we need to spend $10,250,000 a year just to maintain what we've got and catch up. Well, in the water department, in the projection here, we're gonna have an extra $500,000. That means we need another $9.75 million from somewhere, from water rate hikes, well, you know what happened there, or somewhere that we're gonna need in the future. And so we just have to stop spending. For over 10 years, we've spent more money than we have. We have to stop doing that.
When you say the money's coming from reserves, what reserves are you talking about?
The general fund, that we're just gonna be.
The mandated reserves?
Oh, no, you can't go below that. But the general fund, what's gonna happen is you're gonna go down and down and down, and that's what we've done for a decade. We took an oath to do the very best of this job to the best of our ability. We've gotta be good stewards of the city's assets. And we cannot spend money on stuff we don't have to spend money on. We shouldn't spend money that we don't have. And by going to a lower general fund balance at the end of the year, that's what we did. And that's what we've done for a decade.
Well, I'm still having a hard time trying to understand what reserves are we talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is,
because the only reserves that I know of is the mandated state reserves that we are.
But we changed it to 312.
We live in the 312s, but it's only mandated 1.
Okay, so that's the only reserve we have to have, is 112.
1%.
Well, 1 month.
Or 112,
Yeah.
not 1%, but 112.
Yeah, so we're saying at the end of the year here, we're gonna have $18 million.
In the reserves?
In the general fund. And our expenses with budget adjustments are 64 million. So if we take 1/12 of that 64 million, let's say that's $5.5 million. That's what our reserve is mandated to be. And we're gonna be at 18.1. We started at 23. We just can't keep spending money we don't have.
Sure. So I'm still very confused with the numbers, and maybe I should have, make it a point to go to the finance committee meetings. But I understand that we can spend what we don't have.
Right. We have $18 million, and we have to have a reserve of, let's say, $5.5 million. So we could spend 13 more million in the general fund before we hit that mandated reserve. The problem is, we have to realize that we shouldn't go down in the general fund every year. We should go up. Our other funds, enterprise funds, should have to pay for themselves. What I'm saying is, our water fund right now, according to the expert we just heard from in the infrastructure committee, we're gonna be almost $10 million less than where we should be, so we can do $10.25 million of repairs next year.
Well, I think the number is gonna be a lot higher than what we were told in the infrastructure committee.
Well, yeah, and they said 92 million in 1 year. Well, you can't possibly do that.
There's no way.
And we don't have that money. And so we've got to figure out a way, when we do next year's budget, which needs to be balanced, we got to figure out a way, how can we save more for the infrastructure for the water? Regarding this item, I'm just saying, sometime the city council has to stop and say, we can't spend that money out of the general fund because we can't let the general fund continue to go down. Our budget has to be balanced, and we haven't done it for over 10 years.
And I totally agree with that, and I guess that's the reason that within the last council, we got into problem, because basically we were borrowing from Paul to pay whatever the saying is.
Well, I think, you know, I wasn't here, but I think you had some problems in the finance committee, which I think we've straightened out and will be better going forward. And the finance committee didn't even get the numbers, the budget, until 3 days before June 1st, which is when you have to send it to Santa Fe. So, you know, the city council before really didn't have a chance to balance the budget. I think if you'd had another 2 weeks, I think you'd have balanced the budget. But because we had these other problems, you didn't really have a chance to do it. We will this year, somehow.
So let me ask you a direct question.
Sure.
In your opinion, being the chair for finance, is it possible to cover the amounts that are being requested? Because I also understand that the event is gonna bring in a lot of money. I mean,
let's say
the problem is that we don't have the money to pay it up front, but after the event, if we do have it, we will have plenty of money, I believe.
I guess my opinion is we've given them 50 and 56,000 the last 2 years, and they've done a good job. They need to do that again this year because we don't have money that I think we should take out of the general fund. That's just my opinion.
But you're saying that we can be able to give this amount from the reserves and then put back the money back into the reserves?
No, what I'm saying is we actually budgeted less than 56,000, but because some lodger's tax money was not taken, we have 56,000 we can take out of the lodger's tax fund, and it won't put us in the hole from our budget. If we take more money out of the general fund, which we have, but we're gonna reduce it like we've done for 10 years, we've just gotta stop sometime. And so I'm not for taking the money out of the general fund. I'm for giving them what they've got, as much as they've got the last 2 years. They've done a good job, and, you know, we'll look at it next year, but I don't think we should spend more money.
And the question, I guess, for staff is, how important, I know it's important, but how important is it that you have the 2,000?
Main Street.
Or Main Street?
Yeah.
Council?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Oropesa. Yeah, this is Main Street's request. So the staff recommendation was the lodger's tax number. The addition was asked for legislatively by Councilor Halverson.
I yield. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Christina had a comment.
Yeah, I had, did you have a comment?
No,
You
yeah.
didn't, okay. I'm sorry, I got my notes backwards. Okay, next I had, Ms. Arnold, and then I had Ms. Halverson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not sure if I wanted to go first on that, because I actually am uncomfortable with the events in general fund. I was gonna say this first to Councilman Gass. I do want to say that I actually want to commend the council and the administration for the last 4 years of hard work we've put in. We have a lot of work to do. But since we came in 4 years ago, we've been working on this, and something like this being overnight is not realistic. Now, I will say that I do believe that we could be better about planning, actually having workshops to have conversations about focus, and coming up with a true plan for getting us to a balanced budget. I myself don't actually see it as something that occurs overnight, and I think we need a lot more buy-in and a lot more, we need the people, the council completely informed on the motion forward. And so I do hope in your time as chair, we can come up and create something so, you know, we can truly have a balanced budget without actually, because the reason, I think the reason you see a lot of it is for years, there were departments that didn't have funding to even buy new vehicles. And so we've been doing things, and that's why I want to commend this council and this administration for the work that they put in the last 4 years trying to get there. And as I said, there is still work to do. I do not support general funds for events, this one or the next item. So I do want to put it out there that, if I may ask Main Street Roswell, can you do an event for 56,000? I know you put in for a little more, but.
Right. Well, yes, we can do an event. It just depends on what kind of event you want. You know, there was a lot of things that we cut. When you look at the expenditures of the 2025, let's see, when was it? Yeah, and we spent the 50,000, but there were so many other things that we could have done that we couldn't do. And the only reason we actually didn't spend more was because we had a few of our acts cancel, some of our entertainers that canceled, but there was many of them that were recommended, even that were done before, previously, when the city of Roswell did the UFO festival. They said everybody loved this thing or that thing or this, fire person or this aerial type thing. But we just had to cut our budget to make sure we stayed within that amount of money. We did get sponsorships, and we did try to use some of those. I don't think everybody tries to go out for sponsorships, because I know some of the people that receive Rogers tax funding don't go out for sponsorships. We do. We try really hard to get enough money to cover for everything. But this year is our 79th anniversary of the 1947 crash, and it's also the 250th birthday of the United States. So we really wanted to make it a big one, and we wanted to put as much as we could in there to say, we want to make it bigger and better than you've ever seen. So by the time the 80th anniversary gets here, the next year, it'll be a really great, big event. So the answer to your question is, it's possible we could do it. I mean, we've done it. But as you can see, we went down from getting, I think the first year we got 60,000. And then, that's not mine, okay. We went from getting 60,000 down to 50,000, and this year was a recommended 20. You can't do that. You cannot put on an event that way. And, but I would appreciate that you consider it. I think we've done a good job. We're good stewards of it. We cut our budget as requested by the Finance Committee, brought it down by $28,000 from our original budget. So we'll do the best we can with what you give us. That's all I can say.
I yield for now.
Thank you. Councilor Lee Halverson.
I just wanted to add that this is one of the largest tourism events in the state. And the downtown merchants, I'm always trying to look out for them. They do more business during this weekend than they do like 3 or 4 months in a row. So if Main Street Roswell can't put on a quality event, then I really think we're gonna hurt our merchants, the hotels, and all the vendors and all.
Thank you. Councilor Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tony, I received this email from Councilor Gass today showing the final budget summary. What percentage are we at over budget or under budget in the general fund on spending right now? Because this contemplates 100%, correct?
So.
And I also three questions really. You have a budget adjustment expense, you're gonna add another $8.8 million in budget adjustments that we did not approve in last year's budget. I would think this council needs to know exactly where we're at on that $8.8 million that we did not approve last year, and you're saying that we're gonna have $8.8 million. And does this also, now you're saying we got budget adjustment revenue, an increase of 5.4 million. Is that, how did you arrive at that number?
So
the 5.4 million is, grant related.
It has nothing to do with the increased GRT that we've received, which we're running, what, over 3 million, close to $3 million ahead of our GRT projection, correct?
Yes.
So there's some fallacies in here, Counselor, that I think need to be brought to everybody's attention so that we're talking crystal clear here.
So Councilor Gass, before coming tonight, called me and asked me if I could give a breakdown of the 8.
Yeah, I'd like to have a meeting with you and Counselor Gass. So like, I didn't grow up in Missouri, but I grew up next door to Missouri.
She's got it.
Show me.
I've got it all right here.
Is what I'd like to see so that we are all transparent and we all know what we're talking about here on just the general fund.
Yeah, I have all the budget adjustments that were approved.
And the incomes that went with them.
Yes.
Okay, because that inflates them, because all I ever look at is the budget adjustments that we approve that don't have income with them. Those are true budget adjustments. The others are grants that come in, correct?
Right. And I have them separated out for you.
Okay, that's what I want to look at.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Counselor, I'm not sure that we're going to be down this amount of money. We have not done a thorough budget review at this point in time, which I believe needs to be done. We haven't done a review of all of the enterprise funds from 25. We haven't seen that yet. The year's ended. We're 7 months into the new year. Have any of you seen a performance review on any of the enterprise funds? No. Have we seen a performance review mid-year on the enterprise? I'm not chastising you, but we don't have information that's solid. And we've been working on this solidly for 4 years, trying to get this thing under control. But I think there needs to be a lot more review done before we say we're broke. Because I think there's $3 million more in gross receipts, maybe $4 million more in gross receipts that's not in this number. Could you not disagree with that? Because I presented those numbers at finance when I did some calculation. So I think the position is not as bad. The sky is not falling. It's falling a little bit, but it's not falling around, and we're not going to destroy us, in my opinion. We've been working on these things for 4 years. So, Council, I'm asking the city manager, is the sky falling? Yeah, I know you've only been on the job for a short period of time.
Yes, on my 9th day is the job.
And you've been involved in the city?
Yeah, so I've been,
for a long time.
so, no, what I can say is that I have not thoroughly looked at this document yet, but what I can say is that we are about 18% above projection on average for this year on GRT.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But we don't know where we're sitting at. Of course, we could, I mean, you handed us the package, I don't have,
right, and so it's a
I mean, I could go create worksheets and spend hours and hours and hours on where every department is on their budget, but we haven't done a budget review at all. I don't know whether street department is under budget by a certain percentage through the year. And the other thing you have to look at, when you look at these budgets, we dump in front-end costs, do we not? That don't come back at the later portion of the year. So you could look like you're over budget, but you're truly not, because of the way we front load some of our expenses, correct? Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. So insurance, for example, is front loaded, so we're already covered there. No, yeah, so Ken, I don't mean to pussyfoot around it, but I just simply haven't looked at the numbers to give a good answer one way or the other. We're well ahead on GRT, but we've also been making budget adjustments every month for substantial sums.
Right. And it's not this council that spends the money.
No, you just give us
you just come and ask, you come and ask. So stop asking. And we won't have a problem.
I did want a new chair.
No. But that's all I have to say about this budget. When you talk about we're being under budget, or we're gonna be $4 million down, until I see some more analysis on this, I cannot believe it. So I yield, Mr. Mayor.
If I could, everybody spoken once that I've seen with their hand up. I would just like to point out, you know, when we came in here back 4 years ago, or whatever, and, you know, we have had a series of huge problems, all the way from Tyler. You're looking at that and you look about the budgets, and then you come along and we find out how people were taking money out of all the enterprise funds that you're not supposed to do that. And they were putting that in the regular budget and spending it where willy-nilly, wherever they wanted. And so we got a budget that was falsely inflated because of the monies that were coming in, as I see it. It was falsely inflated because of monies that were coming in from enterprise funds and other things and being spent in that way. So, and then we had Tyler's system that really the inputs into Tyler were not correct in the water department, or, you know, darn near anywhere. It seemed like there was always a problem in Tyler. And Tyler's is a company that was not responsive when it came to solving problems and answering questions for our staff to answer questions to us, or for us to get reliable answers. And so what I'm saying, I guess, really is that I think that we got a system that was extremely broken. And we've identified where some of the breaks were in the water department, how things were plugged in there. I'm not sure if we didn't have increases that were supposed to be put in or what. I think there was some Joe Nebb was supposed to put in before he ever left here and didn't do it. And so we have a whole system that is really just plain screwed up. And I think when we decided to take Oracle on, I think that was the way we knew that when we took Oracle on, we would actually get numbers that really meant something. And I think that's one of the greatest things. I think that why this council voted for that was because we were gonna start afresh with somebody and have a clean slate, so when we leave this place, we can leave the next councils that come up with a clean slate. And I want to compliment everybody here. What everybody says about the funds, they're all true. We have a little cushion because we only have to have 112, and we have 3. And we've kind of guarded that to the best we can. And when you take the 40,000 out, or in the 150 out, or whatever, when you take that out, yes, you were eating away part of that 3/12. And everybody's here is right when they say you gotta quit. And so this is one of those times where all of a sudden it becomes very apparent that we have to decide whether we quit today or if we quit tomorrow. And I don't fault Main Street. You know, everybody wants to put the best show on we can. And you know, we just have to decide. But we are running out of places to take money from, and you know, that's just kind of where we are. I don't want to blame our finance department. I don't want to blame our counselors. We just got a place that was extremely messed up, and that's how you say it. I don't know. You can say it lots of different ways, but that's just the plain facts. And there's probably not many of us that would use the terms messed up. It would probably been something that was worse. So I think we need to decide if we're gonna go down that road, if we're gonna give them some money. That's what this council is about. And if today's the day it stops, it stops. But I gotta tell, I have to thank each and every one of you for just being with us when we have to fight the things that we've had to try to turn around. I mean, I don't think it's little, I think it's big, what we've had to turn around. We were left in a huge mess. And if you really wanna look, didn't I don't know, it seems to me like our city manager got 11% raise on his way out the door. I think that's right.
Correct.
And I'm just saying now, I wonder why that happened. Why didn't our guys at the water department get 11% raise? I mean, you know, all I'm saying are the solid waste, or we have a group of people who are all working together, and we are coming together where I think that the workers in this city, and I think the people, have confidence in us that we're gonna turn this ship around and get it when a balance sheet and the stuff that we get and show them are gonna be 100% factual. But it's gonna take another year or two probably to do that too, because it was so screwed up. Now, if we get 18% income all this time, you know, that's gonna really help us out on getting down the road. But you know, you can still turn around and you can look and see, and look, we have employees that aren't being really paid a competitive wage to keep them hired for the city to change those big pipes. We don't have a crew really to train to change, you know, a 30-inch pipe. And so we have to hire that done all the time. And I would just tell you, I do remember there was a pipeline that was cut at the, out at the country club, a sewer line that was cut. And we were told it was a $60,000 repair. We had to get somebody from out of town to do it. And that the people who cut it kind of complained a little bit and said, and they fixed it for $5,500 versus $60,000 if we'd have got somebody from Albuquerque. So, and they did that with some workers from here, and it's held up ever since. So, you know, there are a lot of things that we need to address in our system, but we've got to have crews that can fix water leaks of all sizes. We've got to have that, and we're going to have to probably pay some salaries to keep people here that have that kind of knowledge. But I just thank you all for being here, and this is a real positive discussion as far as I'm concerned, because from this, every one of us knows right now, it's either a time you fish or you cut bait. And that's what it is. And we can either put it off or we can pass it. We can stop it. And I don't want to do anything to Main Street. Our UFO, you know, we still get 750 people a day or 800 every day goes through that place. That's the best tourist thing. There's not a better tourist stop in the state. I mean, it's not. So thank God for the UFO, and don't tell my brother, because he did the 97th, he and Stan and those guys made it really go good, that whole group they had. But it's really worked. So we need to keep it going. Barbara's right, we need to keep it going, have a good festival. But you know, maybe we can't do the 56, but that's why you all are elected, is to decide when we fish or cut bait. So you want me to get the poles, or you want me to get the bait? Or maybe we don't need either.
Call for a vote.
Call for a vote. Well, we still had.
I just wanted to go on record, I really appreciate Councilor Korn as chair of the finance committee and the finance committee in the past, because they did work really hard trying to balance the budget. They were handcuffed because they didn't get it there. I appreciate the city staff because I think they're really busting their butt to get us the best information they can. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that the city of Roswell asked for the special audit. We went to the state auditor, said, we've got problems, can you come down to the special audit? That was the mayor and the finance committee that went and asked for that. So, you know, they have been working really hard on it, and I think we'll get there, I really do. So, that's all I want to say.
Okay, anyone else? Well, it's the same problem, though. Bobby did, you guys all worked at that. It's exactly right. It's the same problem we're still dealing with, the same stuff from bad government in the past. But we're working forward to
Call
get
for the
there.
question.
Okay, we have a motion for the question. So, the question that we had on the floor was to consider item 26, consider the approval of Main Street Roswell sponsorship agreement to the UFO Festival in the amount of $102,000 with $56,000 from the lodger's tax and $46,000 out of the general fund. Motion was made by Councilor Gass and seconded by Council Lady Moore. And so we're gonna have a vote. The motion before us now is on the call of the question on that. It doesn't have to be seconded or move the question, so no, it doesn't. So, okay, so if the clerk would call the roll on, if we are gonna, this is to call the question to vote on item 26. A vote of yes means we vote. A vote of no means we continue discussion. So if the clerk would call the roll.
Councilor Corn?
Yes.
Councilor Marujo?
Yes.
Councilor Hildenbrand?
Aye.
Councilor Moore?
Yes.
Councilor Oropesa?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilor Halverson?
Yes.
Councilor Gass?
No. It was close. Oh,
Councilor Arnold?
Yes.
It was on the question.
okay. This was on the question, yes. It was a real close decision. Pardon?
Now we're gonna vote on the motion.
Yes, after all, but we have to announce the vote.
I misunderstood, so I'm a yes.
You misunderstood, he thought we were voting
All
on
right, well, I had 9 in the affirmative, that we vote on the question. That's what I had on my vote. Okay, so now we vote on, all right, this is item 26, to consider the approval of Main Street Roswell sponsorship UFO for the amount of $102,000, 56 from the lodger's tax and 46 out of the general fund. On a motion made by Councilor Gass, seconded by Councilor Lady Moore. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Corn?
No.
Councilor Marujo?
Yes.
Councilor Hildenbrand?
Aye.
Councilor Moore?
Yes.
Councilor Oropesa?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilor Halverson?
Yes.
Councilor Gass?
No.
Councilor Arnold?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-2.
Okay, so we have, item 26, by a vote of 7 in the 2, 7 affirmative, 2 in the negative. Item 26, to consider the approval of Main Street sponsorship agreement for UFO Festival for $102,000 with 56 from lodger's tax and 46,000 from the general fund as duly passed. Next, we go to item 27. Okay. Item 27 is to consider the approval of Main Street Roswell sponsorship agreement for America 250 in the amount of $150,000 from the general fund. And Councilor Gass.
I move that we consider approval of the Main Street Roswell sponsorship agreement for America 250 Roswell in the amount of $150,000 from the general fund.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Gass. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Lady Halverson seconds. Okay. Is there, Councilor Gass, would you care to explain your motion, or is there any discussion on, we've already gone through it. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I do believe Mayor Turner had a comment he might want to make. You're on, all right.
You don't?
Sure.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, seeing no Discussion?
Well, I have discussion.
Oh, well, I just asked, okay. Counselor Gass?
We are in the hole. We are going, even if we take that revenue, we still are in the hole for this year. This is 2.5 police cars. I had somebody call me today, a businessman in Roswell, and he said, I can raise the 150,000. He said, I don't need that. He said, what I need out there is the city to go out, because if you have 10,000 people out there, I need the city to go out and have police there and have the fire department there and sanitation. And we could take 20,000 out of the public safety fund to give them for that, so we could have those people out there, and then we could invoice them and get it back. It wouldn't cost us anything. But this is a lot of money that we don't have, and again, we're robbing the general fund. I think there's a way to get this done privately this year and not cost us that much money. And I just think we should consider spending $150,000 again that we don't have.
Okay, now, are you done, Counselor?
Yes, sir.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if this individual wants to raise $150,000, then this money would come back because they would never spend it. Correct?
No, they would spend 300.
No, they wouldn't.
No,
No, they would not spend 300. They would spend, excuse me, let me finish my time, please.
Yeah.
That, I'm asking council, or
Yeah.
that if we grant them 150, they get a donation for 150 for their fireworks display. They would not be spending our money and it would come back to us. Would that be a proper statement?
The way the contract is written, that is not, what we would be purchasing is advertising. Now, if Main Street's willing to represent that if they were to get somebody to come in with 150,000, they would give that 150,000 back.
Contractually make that happen?
Yeah, we can have that in.
We could amend this contract.
The language would be something I'd want to think about for a little bit. So if in your motion, you simply say with language that would require a payback. If they receive something, then yes, we can do that.
But then I would like to make that motion.
Okay. So we have.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so what I'd say is that you would propose an amendment that would include a reverter clause when executing of the 150,000 when executing the contract.
Okay. That if they were able to receive that direct donations for that, then we would have clawback to the city.
I second that motion.
So that's my motion to amend.
A motion to amend on a clawback. It's Counselor Hildebrand. And seconded by Halverson. Is there any further discussion?
On that motion or on the whole?
Yeah, no, we're on the motion.
On a motion to
And
amend.
I don't see any hands up. I would just have one question. If they don't raise it, and I mean, if they have to buy fireworks, this is just for advertising. Once they spend that, it's gone. And we have, and we're gonna be counting on someone else to raise the money, whoever it is, we don't know. And to give the money, if they don't give us the money, Main Street will have already spent the money.
No.
How?
No,
They
so
Mr. Mayor, the way I would probably construct this, and Josh, feel free to chime in, is we would say that for every dollar that is donated for purpose X, that shall create a reversionary interest to the city for a sum equal to that amount from the 150,000 sponsorship. So if some benefactor were to come in and give 200,000 for fireworks, the whole 150 would revert. If somebody comes in and gives 50,000 would revert. So we could be on the hook for the whole 150. or any amount there.
Okay, now, there was also a comment made about an individual said he could raise the money. And, I was approached by an individual, and his main thing is that we have one fireworks show. And the story was that Church on the Move was gonna have theirs on June the 20th. And then we were gonna have, whatever we had in Roswell was to have all our police and firemen there, so we had good representation and crowd control for 10,000 people that go to see El Grande to watch it. And, I mean, to me, as I see that, then this is basically, we've got to sell this to have, Main Street Roswell raise $150,000 and have our policemen will then be committed to go to that show, or police and fire or whatever, I would guess, to provide, security and safety at that event, because the only place we have a lot of people is the El Grande. So would that would be how it's understood with everybody on the council? Yep. Yeah. Councilor Corn, and then Councilor Moore, and then Councilor Arnold.
Well, are we gonna vote on the motion first, or are we gonna go into?
Well, we're still in discussion on the motion.
On the motion?
Yes. Councilor Moore, or Councilor Corn? I'm sorry.
However you want to do it, Mayor.
No, you were first. I'm sorry, I just misspoke. Councilor Moore in second.
No, she doesn't.
I was just giving attention.
She doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't want to. Then Councilor Arnold.
My comment is that if you put a clawback in to Mr. Smith, it says that he thinks he can raise the money, then, and we go ahead and give the money, what's his incentive to try to raise money just to give to the city of Roswell?
Councilor Hildebrand, would you care to respond?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
It's his word.
Well.
Is that not correct, Councilor Gass? You got good.
Well, that's what we'd have as his word, but he didn't think he was gonna get the 150,000. So he said he would go raise it. He said he didn't need it. That's what he told me.
So, to answer your question, Councilor, all you have is his word.
Mm-hmm. Well.
And he's not here to talk about it.
I understand that, but 350,000 would buy 2 new police cars with the equipment.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, it's coming out of the general fund, and the police and the fire department are general fund agencies right now. And so, I got the same problem with this that I had with the other. Use the general fund.
Are you through responding?
Yeah,
okay.
Finish responding.
Okay, he's through. Are you done, Councilor Corn? Okay, Councilor Arnold.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have a couple questions. I did hear you guys actually talk about that this is funding marketing. Did I hear someone say that? Okay, because that's not what the agenda item abstract says. It actually says it's covering fireworks.
That's right, that's what it says.
So is it covering marketing or fireworks?
The contract is a sponsorship agreement, not a fireworks purchase. Sponsorship agreement is this is an advertising / sponsorship purchase, not a fireworks purchase. The abstract is incorrect.
Oh, I got it now. We can't buy fireworks, but we can pay for sponsorship.
Yeah, you don't want to buy it.
Correct. My very firm position that we do not get in the fireworks purchasing business. Once bitten, twice shy. We're not gonna do that while I'm around if we can avoid it.
Sure, Toma got sued because they just put the money up to buy the fireworks.
Yeah, so Councilor, I'm kind of answering your question. Being an attorney, I'm kind of risk averse, and purchasing fireworks if something goes sideways is not something I'm prepared to endorse in any way.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, and I understand the whole thing, and I have been, I think I've been pretty clear, although I wasn't in the last because the two were tied, but, I don't actually believe that the city should have been involved with this because we're not in the event business. And I see it as, even though we're going through, Main Street Roswell as our fiscal agent, well, I've never been a big fan of fireworks. How many fireworks shows are we having this year?
4.
4?
Is it 4?
Okay, yeah, because I also did work on a noise ordinance for my veterans. And I really appreciate that we're contributing to a drone show. And again, I would probably feel a little bit different, but this is out of the general fund. That's $150,000 out of the general fund. And I could swallow the 40 on the last one because that wasn't divided up, but, yeah. This just, guys, I think we all came in here making sure that the city was not engaged in the event business. So I think I'm pretty clear on where I'm standing. I'm a no.
We were talking on the,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
okay, any further comments?
I have comments, but not on the motion.
Let's see.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
can I just ask Barbara a question?
Yes, go ahead.
The $150,000 that Main Street is asking for, what is this specifically for?
Yeah, let me tell you. Do you want to answer that, Juliana? So, may I, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
So we formed a committee to put on an anniversary celebration for the 25th birthday of the United States. Main Street agreed to be the fiduciary for the committee. So part of the event is $150,000 for a fireworks show. They have to be a fiduciary through the city to pay for it. Maybe you can explain it better, Hess, but.
To release our liability.
Yeah, to release the liability. So basically, we would hire a third party to put on the fireworks show. The city would not be putting it on. They'd be hosting the event center and providing the police and the fire. But a third party would have the liability for the fireworks and the insurance. Main Street's the fiduciary.
But this is not an event that absolutely necessary has to be done.
No, but in my opinion, I think it does, only because it's the 250th birthday of the United States. That happens once, ever, never again. And I don't know if you remember, but most of us remember where we were in 1976 when we had, the last anniversary. Well, I don't know, maybe you don't, but I do.
I was in the hospital.
Yeah, well.
You don't remember that.
But to me, this is a once in a lifetime event, and we want the city's gone through so much hardship. I want to create something the entire year that culminates July 4th, but it continues on, that gives something, for the people to celebrate and remember.
Well, and I appreciate that, but the fact is, again, when you're talking about the money, obviously the money's not there. And from us, what I'm hearing is that there's at least 4 firework events that are gonna take place. I'm not sure
Church on the Move.
when they're going to be doing it.
Church on the Move is in June 20th. So we wanted to do it in conjunction with the UFO Festival when all the tourists are here. The other ones that are, Lake Van and the Country Club. And I did have a question for you, still your course.
No, go ahead.
Well, I had it for Mr. Dirty. Were you comfortable with this contract? Because I thought you had issues with it.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I think that, pardon me. I think that the agreement that was presented, when the Finance Committee met, it was one agreement, and then it was broken into 2. We have no issue with the UFO Festival agreement. We do have a lot of concern about this one. And our concern lies in the fact that we initially put ourselves in a position to partner with the city as a fiduciary. nobody really knows who's gonna do the show. Nobody really knows where the money's coming from and where it's going. The accountability, the way that the way that the agreement was written, and I was prepared to address that with you. It's not something that we can do. We need the flexibility to be able to sit down, because liability is not gonna be on Main Street Roswell. It just can't be. We couldn't purchase enough, I'm not sure that we could purchase enough insurance to be able to cover a liability, to hold the city harmless, indemnify the city and hold them harmless would cost us outrageous amount of money. So when we started this, we were gonna be a fiduciary. And I'm hoping that if you do vote to support this, I'm hoping that you will allow some flexibility for us to be able to work with the city on what our responsibilities are gonna be, because they were all over the place on the last one, and I understand there's a new one, but they were all over the place, and it was not acceptable. I was gonna come this evening and ask that this be tabled, so that we could take 1 week to sit down and try to hammer out a document that didn't leave Main Street Roswell hanging for a potential liable situation, but that allowed us to help you do what it is that you want to do. That's what we're here for.
So, Mr. Eichmann, what if we do table this till the next city council meeting?
No, we can't go that long. We can't go that long. Because I've got to think that the fireworks are falling off the shelves right now. There's not going to be another month that you're even going to be able to buy fireworks unless find a firework technician to do it. So
We already have a company that's already agreed to do it.
Well, my understanding is that agreement, that conversation happened weeks ago, if not a couple months ago. And again, maybe they're hanging on to those, waiting for the city and Main Street Roswell to come to an agreement or whatever.
No.
But I gotta think that.
Can I interrupt just a
Please,
minute?
yes, sir.
Sir Thomas Forever, we started with Mike Satterfield's fireworks, and we had all those shows. And we gave it all to the city, we paid to train the firemen, we had all that, it was all done, gave it to the city. The computers, everything to run. And then Dennis brought in somebody from outside, and then they didn't retrain the people. But for the show, when they brought, the next year after he brought in that show and it was a flop, and the next year, he had the firemen do it, and that's when we had the accident. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, the only thing Sertoma did was give the city money, $25,000 or $30,000 or something, to buy the fireworks. Yet, when you think that you're gonna get away from this by going from the liability, when that lawsuit went around, and the firemen sued and everybody, Sertoma had to pay money because they gave the city the fireworks and the city screwed up on how they went off. And Sertoma had to pay. So don't be thinking that if you go through Main Street and everything else, and we fund that through some backdoor mechanism, that you're gonna get away from liability, because in our lawsuit, Sertoma had to pay. And all we did was give you money. And I thought it was really wrong, I still do, but that's what happened. And I would just tell you what, the best thing I think we could have come out of this is if we got Main Street to get together and ask for all the people who wanna have a fireworks show, and get with Travis Hicks and who was your guy?
Travis.
We'll get them all them and say, okay, let's raise the money and do it, and we will provide the firemen and the police to take care of the show at Cielo Grande. We will provide those firemen to provide safety for our constituents in that thing. And I think that could work. And that's, if you want a response, it's, you're at the podium, that's, you know, I mean, that's fine. And if not, I've got Halverson, Councilor Halverson was there first, and then Councilor Corn, and then, or Juan, so.
Well, I was just going to suggest the same thing that you just did. Instead of the city getting involved, if Main Street could get together with the individuals that are having those events and let them take care of the fireworks if that's what they want to do.
And we'll have the police and the fire and
And Councilor Oropesa, I appreciate that, but I don't want to be a Sertoma Club. I don't want to be caught up if something were to happen. I don't want Main Street Roswell to be caught up in it.
So the whole idea.
If we were continuing to be looked at as a fiduciary, which is a nonprofit organization, to be able to put monies in, to write the checks, I'm probably good with that. But anything that brings a potential extensive liability case against Main Street Roswell, it is not gonna happen.
So the way it's set up was, they were only the fiduciary.
Right, initially that's what we
They weren't supposed to be involved in any, well, they were involved because they're on the committee. So they're involved in the decision making, but the committee involves, you know, people from NIMI, people from the school district, there's a committee of people, the city people. So the whole idea was they were just the fiduciary, they weren't making any decisions unless it was made by the committee.
We were gonna track deposits made from the sponsorships that were sent out in that flyer.
So they're not supposed to go out, well, I mean, they can if they want, but they're not making the decisions, the committee's making the decisions.
But they're still holding the money.
We're holding the money and we're paying the
The fact that you're holding the money, you're still responsible.
Yeah, and I understand where it's coming from, yeah.
That's why I asked if I could not get with the city attorney and the city manager and put a jury there for them.
he could require to have the guy providing the show be insured.
No, he is, okay,
I'm just
Dell
saying.
was new to this, he wasn't involved in any of his decisions.
Okay.
So, the committee had already talked about the fireworks, so we had someone, but you didn't ever call me, you're calling everyone else, but you're not calling me. I could have set up a meeting with the person doing the fireworks before all this happened, and we wouldn't have to be going through this right now. We could have had all these things worked out, so. Yeah. I see where you're coming from, but we do have a third party that would do it, they have the insurance, they carry the liability. And I know
Is it the same third party that's?
No, I'm talking about a professional fireworks show person. That's who we gave approval to go ahead and get ready for the show. If Bobby Arnett knows them, it's not through Arnett Fireworks or anything. It's a professional third-party fireworks person that carries all the liability, does the show, they do everything.
But still, the 150, part of the $150 is going toward the fire.
That's what the
fireworks.
150,000 is going to fireworks.
So if I'm hearing the mayor correctly, then the city still holds responsibility.
Sertoma did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're still exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still.
You know, you guys decide what you want. I was just trying to create something nice for the city of Roswell.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
that's.
And we're here to do what we can to help.
Yeah, but it sounds like nobody wants it, so.
No, it's not that, I think
we get it eventually.
Councilor Corn.
Mr. Mayor, I got a question to Councilor Halverson yield.
Yes,
So you keep using the "we" word, who's "we"?
the people on the committee, there's a huge.
What committee, who is on the committee?
Okay.
I'm not on the committee. Main Street, I think, isn't it?
Well, Main Street's on the committee, the school district's on the committee, people from NIMI's on the committee, people from Excel Energy, Bobby's on the committee. We have like 30, 40 different people.
Okay.
I tried to create a committee that included people from the entire city to make this entire citywide event, not just a city event, not a Main Street event. I'm trying to include everybody in the city to have part of this, because it's a year-long event.
It's a city initiated. I would also like to go on record. It has to pay attention, make sure I don't get myself in trouble here. but I have not ever seen, nor have I heard, where you can contract out of liability exposure. You can limit it somewhat, but you can't get away from it.
Yes, so council, one cannot waive negligence in New Mexico. So the reason Sertoma had a slightly different circumstance, but we are protected by the Tort Claims Act. So the standard liability we require when anybody holds us harmless, holds us effectively harmless.
$1 million.
We're requiring 2 million.
2 million, okay.
And then 2 million individual and 5 million aggregate, so we'd have to have a real bad, except for Roswell, that's a $100 million policy, much different risk profile.
Roswell's got exposure all over it, but, I mean, that's the thing, there's a whole lot of stuff involved with this thing when you're dealing with fireworks and stuff. And I think that we just need to pass over this thing, let it die its own death, and get on it a little earlier next time and see if we can get something done.
There is no next time, there's only one 250th anniversary.
Counselor, I understand that, but are you gonna write the liability check if somebody gets hurt?
No.
There you go. The city of Roswell could potentially have to cash in. I mean, you know, if you got a lawsuit, we got $1 million coverage, and the lawsuit says you owe $2 million, guess who has to pick up the other $1 million? We do. That's not a small amount of money, nor depending on how bad the incident is, that's a little bit. If one of these fireworks leaves its barrel and falls in the crowd and it goes off, you don't have enough liability coverage. Guaranteed.
I don't disagree. And quite honestly, $150,000 is not being requested by Main Street Roswell. It's being requested with Main Street Roswell being a fiduciary of taking deposits and paying on invoices. We're not requesting, we're not going to make the deal with the with the individual that's going to do the show. All we are is we're a pass-through. That's all we want to be. That's all we can. That's all we need to be.
Who's gonna actually contract with the? You got the.
Councilor Point, I don't have any idea. And if it comes down to that, then we need to look at it real hard. To be honest with you, because again, we're looking at this and we've seen 2 or 3 or 4 different gyrations of agreements. And things are already in place before you even made a decision on what you want to do with it. But we were asked to be a fiduciary, and that's going to be our limitations.
Somebody's got to contract the potential vendor.
I understand, and I don't know if that's the committee, I don't know who that is.
Opens us up even wider to exposure. I yield.
Okay, thank you. Council Lady Moore hadn't asked any questions all day, so go ahead, Council Lady.
So you don't have a contract with the Americans, the 250, so there's no contract there. Councilor Garrett said someone was going to, what the bill, I don't know what the right word, raise the money. So why are we discussing this, what the city's gonna have to pay if somebody's gonna raise the money? Just let somebody raise the money and leave the city out of it. We don't want to be, let them raise the money and do it. It's the same, I know, I want this, I understand this event, I understand it, but if somebody already has the money to take care of it, then why are we still talking about what the city's gonna, if the city's gonna pay the 150? If we already got somebody that's willing to say, I don't need the 150, I need to meet that person that don't need the 150, but anyway, he said, you don't need the 150, and do y'all really wanna be the fiduciary of it? Of it?
If we can come to terms on an agreement that does not put us in a seriously liable situation, we're more than happy to do what we can to help.
So you know the person that's talking
No, I
about
don't.
donating the.
No, ma'am. No,
Okay,
ma'am.
so you don't know anything about
No,
that?
ma'am.
Is this the first time you're hearing that conversation?
No, my understanding is that there was somebody, and it looks like there's a couple of different people. Yes, ma'am, this is the first time we're hearing that.
Okay, so if the money's donated, then we cannot, I'm gonna vote no on this. If somebody else is already gonna donate the $150,000, leave the city out of it and let it get donated and let it get done. And that's kinda how I feel about it. I agree that we need to have something nice. It's 250, it don't happen, you know, that often, so now keep this, even if somebody else pays for it, it's in our city, there's still some kind of liability for us anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's in our city, but not as much. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's still some type of liability. And if you're gonna think about it, of all the years we had them, how many accidents were there? You know, except for the big one that didn't have nothing to do with us. You know, that was a personnel issue. So, I mean, out of the fire, you know, out of the shows, how many accidents have there been? And so, I mean, don't think about whether we're gonna have an accident, we don't wanna claim that. But I just feel like leave the city out of the 150 and let it get donated and put them in touch with the people they need to talk to get say they got 150 for you, I'm sure you'll take it, right?
We will, if we can come to an agreement that does not put Main Street Roswell in a seriously liable situation, we'll do whatever we can to help out as a commission. Absolutely.
And you did not see this contract that's in our packet today?
I understand it was done in the last couple of days, no, I have not seen it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Mr. Eintema, if they're not comfortable signing this, what's your recommendation?
I guess two things. So first, as a point of order, we're still on the question about amending.
Correct.
So we're not germane to the second part, but I'm gonna go and jump in anyway since we're, I don't love this right now. And I'd prefer not to worry about how to make sure that we protect ourselves from a show. And, you know, there's other times in the year where we could do a fireworks show if the city council so chooses. It's not quite the same, I understand, but.
Councilor Gillibrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Journey?
Yes.
I'm finished with you.
I'm sorry.
So this, quote, anonymous individual were to put up $150,000, you still have the same problem that you're bringing about the city.
Well, I was just having a conversation about that with.
You're gonna have the same problem about the liability.
Well, not if it doesn't run through us. If someone's gonna put up the money, they can just pay the pyrotechnician.
But I think they're wanting to run it through you because they can get charitable donations for that. That's what they're looking at. Because you're a charitable organization.
Yes.
And they can write that check and get the deduction for that.
Right.
I don't think they're looking at just them putting on the show.
Well,
I think they're looking at the tax advantage they get out of it as well. So then you're gonna have the same dilemma, or you're just gonna have to recuse yourself from saying, we don't wanna do it.
And honestly, that may be where it comes down to, but I want that to be the very last breath that we take.
But
we want to do everything we can to make.
But I'm hearing that coming, that's what your conclusion is. Is that you don't want to take the responsibility, and so therefore, you're not gonna do it.
If I had another day or two that I could call our insurance provider and ask what it would cost to cover a fireworks display, and if it was, you know, if it would, depending on what it was, that would have a bearing in the decision. Yes, sir.
So there's no guarantee, even if he makes the donate, or he's able to gather the donation. He didn't say he's gonna write the check himself. He said he's gonna go out and see if he can raise the money.
Okay.
There's no guarantee that he's got the 150,000. And that's why I made my motion, as I did, so that if there was a shortfall, you wouldn't be on the hook for anything, and the city would get their money back and the whole thing would work, so. But you're still gonna have to wrestle with that issue of the liability.
It's in there.
And I'm hearing you saying you're not gonna take that liability on.
Well, the way it was written is that we indemnify and hold harmless the city with decisions that we're not making, with money that we're not soliciting. And so someplace in there's got to be a balance, but if it's totally out of balance, then I think you're probably right.
I get that, and so, but what our city manager's saying, that number needs to be $2 million worth of coverage, correct?
2 million per individual, 5 million aggregate.
Yeah. So, and that would indemnify the city.
To the right amount.
Well, that's all we have to put up. We don't have to, according to what he's saying.
So,
And one of the line items would be with the pyrotechnicians is to have like a.
that's what I was gonna ask, yes. If an insurance policy could be a line item and money from that come, or if we got 150,000 and we gave the city back 150,000 less what that insurance policy cost was, now we can start to maybe look at putting something together.
That would be in a total bid.
So let's say the insurance policy is $10,000 for one night, for one event. If we get 150, then we give the city back 140, and we use 10,000 to pay for our insurance. That's something, I'm guessing maybe that's something we could do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, this last one, Counselor Lady Halverson, this is kind of your deal, so
No,
this would be the last, we'll go to the question.
I haven't talked to the donor, so I don't know if he'd be willing just to pay them directly, take the funds, raise the funds, and then pay them directly. Kurt, you have any idea? I know you can't speak for him.
Say that again?
If he gets the funds to raise it, keep Main Street out of it, and if he just pays them directly, he doesn't get the tax write-off, he just raises the funds and pays the fireworks company directly. I don't know if he'd be willing to do that.
I mean, he's gonna have liability, it's going through his account.
No, she said.
Goes directly to him.
If they bypass, that's right.
Oh, I don't know, no, because he's not writing a check, he's going out and
I know, but I
getting
didn't know if he
donations.
wanted to gather the funds and do it. I didn't know if that was an option. I don't know if he's willing to do that.
I can't speak
But I
for
did-
him.
Nobody can speak.
For you, Mr. Journey, I did let Barbara know that if there's additional insurance required, we can pay for it probably out of the American 250 funds.
What's the last part?
If there's additional insurance required for Main Street to be the fiduciary for that, the fireworks show, that we could probably pay for it out of the American 250, I wouldn't expect it to come out of the 150,000 for the fireworks.
Okay.
Plus the 150,000 with the motion that's on the table, there would be clawback. And any money that was not spent would go back to the city.
So the money that's coming through on the sponsorships, the $25,000 or the 20,000 or the 15 or whatever, that goes to that goes through the committee to Main Street?
Well,
to
it's
deposit?
going to the account.
Can part of that money be used for
Then we can buy
an
the
insurance
insurance with
policy?
that, yes.
Okay, is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I missed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the sponsorship money. That's not, it's not tied to anything with the city. The only thing that would be tied to the city is 150,000. But the motion that's on the floor, that if we get 150,000 from the city, and then this sponsor finds more money
Right.
for us, then that would come off with
All
150,000.
right, so could I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, but we gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
We got some dead horse.
Okay. Can the council leave some negotiation between Main Street Roswell, the city attorney, and the city manager? Because again, I'm not seeing this. I didn't know it was anything new. So if there are some small tweaks that need to be done, can the council have, or can the council give authority for those tweaks to be taken care of? But if there's something significant or major, then a decision would have to be made whether or not we can do it.
Mr. Eichmann, would I be able to make a motion, after this other motion passes, or goes through, or gets voted on, that, the city council gives you authority to negotiate with them?
Yes, so, what really we would need is the budget authority and permission to enter into a sponsorship agreement not exceeding $150,000 for July 4th festivities. And if that's the motion, then we can take it from there.
Well, we have a motion on the floor still.
We have a motion on the floor, we have to vote.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Hildebrand could withdraw his motion from the floor and then substitute in this motion.
But then we could make the motion with the clawback.
Up to. I'm gonna include the clawback. If you give us the ability to negotiate it, the clawback will be a part of it. You don't need to put in motion.
So I'll remove my motion.
And did you have a second? No, you didn't have a second.
I was a
Oh, yeah, you
second.
did. You had a second. She was a second. Do you agree with that?
I agree with this.
So the council, the two members who proposed the amendments, and now we're back on the bill.
So can I make an amendment?
And,
That's what I need to make an amendment.
well, you want her, well,
Or just amendment as stated.
Amendment is stated.
and this would be to give, now,
This would enable the administration to enter into up to $150,000 sponsorship agreement with Main Street Roswell with a reversion clause. With a reversion.
okay, so that's, would be it now. Is there any way that you could get your group of 250 to work with anybody else in town that wanted to have a same fireworks show? And about to donate money to it?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Mayor. So there's a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, now we got a second, okay. If
Help.
we have somebody that's promising to try to raise the money, I wanted to get your group
Yes.
in touch with them so we can stop this stuff.
We'd be very happy to work with any of the other groups that, you know, fireworks.
Okay. And that could include funding or whatever, so you don't even have to draw any money down from the city. Okay? Is that-
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, does everybody understand it is that way?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, and this would be to consider item 27 and approve a Main Street sponsorship agreement
So we gotta vote on the
with,
motion.
for the,
Let him read it.
or do you wanna read would you read the motion?
This would amend the principal motion to, if you approve this, then the next vote would be to allow the city manager and attorney to negotiate up to $150,000 sponsorship contract with Main Street Roswell for July 4th festivities.
That was a motion.
With the comment.
Yeah.
With clawback. Okay, so now, okay, if the clerk would call a roll on this motion.
On the amendment.
On the amendment, yeah.
Counselor Corn?
No.
Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Aye.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa?
No.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Halverson?
Yes.
Counselor Gass?
No.
Counselor Arnold?
No.
By a vote of 5 in the affirmative and 4 in the negative, the amendment has passed. So now we're back on the bill at item 27 as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if the clerk would call the roll on the motion as amended.
Counselor Corn?
No.
Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Aye.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa?
No.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Halverson?
Yes.
Counselor Gass?
No.
Counselor Arnold?
No.
By a vote of 5 in the affirmative and 4 in Negative. Item 27 as amended is duly passed. Okay, moving right along, we'll go to item 28. It's approval for a budget adjustment for $263,355.30 to install data lines and CJIS required access control for the new Roswell Police Department headquarters. And, Councilman Corn. Or did you want?
I move that we make a motion, we approve the budget adjustment of $263,355.30 to install data lines in CGIS required access control for the new Roswell Police Department headquarters.
Second. Yes, and that was Councilor Maru, hope for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Council? Go ahead, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item was also tied with item number 4. As you'll notice, I think in your packet, you're actually missing the document that would be supporting this. But we also again want to present to the committees of council the alternate funding availability or alternate costs for maintaining the current police station. As such, we respectfully ask that this motion be tabled.
The item 28 be tabled?
Yes.
Okay.
Table is fine because it doesn't have to. There's nothing. Unlike the other one, the tabling is fine because it's really just an up or down on a quote that J&G gave.
Okay.
Okay. So we, would the sponsor and the second consider a motion? Well, someone has to make a motion to table.
Table.
Second. So Councilor Corn made a motion to table and it was seconded by Councilor Gas. And so is there any further discussion? Seeing none, you want a voice vote, or you want to, everybody ought to have a voice vote? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, by a vote of 9 to affirmative, nothing negative, item 28 has been tabled. Okay, next we go to item 29. That is consider the, Mayor Jennings' recommendation appointments to a flood task force were as follows. These are, 5 individuals that, are from around town and they are, just being perfectly honest, they're not geographically dispersed, but they have different talents. Each person has a different talent here. And this is for a flood task force. So the purpose of the flood task force is to develop plans and get ideas about what we can do and how we can spend the FEMA money to get the biggest bang for our buck in moving Roswell down the road to recover from our floods. And so, and if you look, you have Chris Cortez, everybody knows him. He knows an awful lot about water and everything. He was a counselor, he understands us. Gordon Patton is a builder around town that has been here his whole life. And Micah Spiritu is with our Chamber of Economic Development. And John Hitchcock is a local banker here in Roswell with Pioneer Bank. He serves around, he has a good balance in our community, I think, as well. Now, that's just to get somebody to start looking about different options that we have to prevail on about where we go if FEMA ever starts sending money out to us. And that would be the purpose of this task force.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
one quick question, Mr. Johnny Hitchcock, is he still on the,
Airport advisory.
airport advisory?
Yes, he is.
So we have regulations that says that one individual cannot serve in more than one committee?
Yes, and if he cannot serve, if he has to decide on which one he would rather do, I would change him off of one or the other. And I will come to you with a new appointment. I wanted to find somebody with a financial, background that has been in Roswell and been involved in Roswell and everything in Roswell. And, you know, they've always been very supportive of the city on loans and stuff to keep people going. And that's why, he is very adamant and he's very strong on the aviation committee, but I wanted to give him the opportunity. I know this, if he might have to pick one or the other, and then I will have one. I would like to get this group started, because when we get, if FEMA ever starts giving us money with the damage that's been done, there will be a lot of opportunities to put money together to do different things. And, because we can't necessarily go back into the Roswell Museum where it sits now, because we can't get insurance. So this gives them opportunities to look at everything, whether it's, we don't have an adult center that we have, so.
I understand.
Yeah, so that's what it's for.
The importance of him being on the committee. But my concern is that if we have a resolution or ordinance, that one individual cannot be in serving two committees.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councilor, that's correct. So, Mike Espiritu and John Hitchcock are both on the AAC presently. Mr. Espiritu terms out before their next month's meeting, so he wouldn't be, that rule wouldn't implicate him. Mr. Hitchcock would have to choose between the two. Part of the reason why I advised the mayor to put him on is that I wanted to make sure that if something happened between any of the other three, we have a quorum to move forward. So, Mr. Hitchcock, he'll have to choose one or the other tomorrow morning. But I prefer to have a full slate available, because as I recall from our December meeting, this was a very high priority group for the council. And so we need to get them meeting, especially with budget coming.
One more vacancy that needs to be filled on the city.
Yeah, so there's one more vacancy to be filled. I was gonna ask that they had ideas, because they all have to work together and they're gonna be working a lot. So, but it's the mayor's call, of course.
I mean, I'm just looking, and I'll try to balance it out the best I can on.
Councilor, maybe the easier thing to say is we will not allow any of these individuals to violate the ordinances, so it'll be taken care of tomorrow morning, one way or the other.
Okay.
So, I thank you for your indulgence if you'll give me and Mr. Hitchcock that opportunity to let him pick. So do I have a motion to approve item 29 with those appointments to the flood task force of Chris Cortez, Gordon Patton, Mike Espiritu, and John Hitchcock. There will be one more appointed.
I think I need to make that motion.
Yes, we were hoping you would.
Well, if you quit gabbing, I would. Council, I wish that you approve the recommendation of these appointments to the flood task force: Chris Gomez, Gordon Patton, Mike Espiritu, John.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Johnson, I think beat you. Any further discussion? Can we do a voice vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? By vote of 9 affirmative, none of the negative. Thank you, I'm sorry for that. I do appreciate the opportunity to let him pick. Okay, next we have to approve the employment terms. Oh my gosh. Now, this is hard. Christopher J. Narmahan. Well, nobody knows who he is, but I know Josh is gonna introduce him. For the position of our city attorney. Josh, would you care to say something nice about Mr. Christopher J. Narmahan?
Sure thing, Mayor, Council. I look forward, hopefully, to the opportunity to be the city attorney and serve on the council here and the mayor. You know, as my role as deputy city attorney, I think it's been challenging. I think it's a good opportunity now to do something a little different, and so I look forward to that. And I appreciate the mayor's appointment and stand for any questions. Well, I know we have a potential for a closed session if you want to.
So if you want a closed session, yes, we can do that. Does anyone care for a closed session?
I just have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Councilor.
I just have a question, and I guess this goes to the city manager, not you, Josh. That the term of the agreement, it says that it will be the acting city attorney until August 13th. Why are we not just making the city attorney now? And when does this contract go in effect? Does it go in effect August 13th?
Oh, so I can, so,
Or were you asking the mayor to appoint him as acting?
So, I can answer that for you. So, Josh and I discussing it, I think that he meets the minimum standards of the ordinance. He said that there could be a question because he did take a brief, while still an attorney by licensing, he was not working for a period of time doing other things. So there's a 6-year requirement. The way I read the ordinance, I think he meets it. In an abundance of caution, we've worded it so that he assumes the official office exactly when he would hit that in all guaranteeable ways.
Okay, so he's gonna be the acting city attorney, and when does this contract then go effective date?
This would be effective upon execution.
But he won't be the city attorney.
He would carry the authority of the city attorney as acting, because, he can't, right now, we can't settle things, because we don't have anybody with city attorney signature authority, so you have to engage him with that.
Okay, I just saw that, I didn't understand what that was about.
No, yeah, so this is, this was Josh, being risk averse like any good lawyer.
Oh, did Josh do it or did Christopher do it?
It was Christopher, his other lawyer.
Get 2 lawyers for the price of
Thank you for the explanation.
But if we vote on him, he can go get in this other lawsuit with you or help you figure out the problem on the fireworks.
Yeah, well,
Because you have the city
I'll get
attorney and the
Christopher right
manager
on
to do
it.
it.
Take Christopher to do it.
Well, Josh may be busy.
Yeah. Josh has been there, he's been here, he's been a good employee for, all the time I've been on the council, so I don't have any problems with this. I think he'd be a good step up, and because I think he's done a good job for us in the past. So, and now the city judge is gonna have to, you're gonna have to fight him now. So let Megan Hess do it. Okay, yes.
So will there be a deputy, or you would have to find another deputy, for their,
Yes, so we'll be posting
for a deputy?
or an assistant. We're gonna have to see what's out there. The legal market's pretty lean these days, but.
We found you.
You found a lot of gristle.
Okay, any further comments?
We want to go into closed session.
Does anyone care to go to closed session?
Okay.
No. Okay, if the clerk could call the roll.
No, we need a motion on the table yet.
Huh?
We need a
Don't get it off and take that paper.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Counselor
Are you ready for me?
Yes, Counselor
Okay, well, I just wait for everybody to be quiet for a minute. Approve the terms of employment and job description for Christopher J. Saban.
Mayor.
Naren
Position. What's the word that's in the contract? Acting city attorney.
Second.
And that was seconded by Counselor Marulo. Any further discussion? So we should call the roll. Clerk, you call the roll.
Counselor Corn?
Yes.
Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Aye.
Counselor Moore?
For Josh or for Chris? Yes.
Counselor Ortega?
Yes.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Halverson? Yes. Counselor Gass?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold? Yes. Motion passes 9-0.
Congratulations, Josh. Okay, we're glad to have you. Okay, so 32 is done, okay. So we better go back and see what we can redo. Okay, we didn't have a closed session. Okay, so last item on the agenda, we have ordinance resolutions and item 32, resolution 2609, adoption of resolution 2609, approving the budget adjustment for the fiscal year of June 30th, 2026. Councilor Gass.
Tony, do you have the new numbers?
Yes.
Okay, what are they for revenue and what are they for expenses?
There was no changes in revenue. It was 214,816.55.
Okay. The same as it is.
For revenue.
Yeah.
And then the change with, the expenditures with, agenda item number 26 was just the, allocation for 46,000 to general fund and 150,000 to general fund for the, Main Street Roswell. So that was a change of the 224 and the allocation to lodger's tax on there, so it is now general fund. And it is now 1,439,227.26.
So what is the number, Tony, for the UFO? You got 224 on there, what is the number?
You have 46,000.
Less?
No, and then 150 for, Main Street Roswell for both of those.
Okay, so it's 46 and 54, and 150, correct?
150, 46 and 150.
196 for that, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me motion that we pass resolution 2609, adopt the resolution of 2609, approving the budget adjustment for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, with the numbers that Tony just gave us.
Motion by Councilor Gass, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Hildebrand. Is there any further discussion? Would the clerk, call the roll?
Councilor Corn?
Yes.
Councilor Ruble?
Yes.
Councilor Hildebrand?
Aye.
Councilor Moore?
Yes.
Councilor Oropesa?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson? Councilor Halverson? Councilor Gass?
Yes.
Councilor Arnold?
Okay. By a vote of 9 in the affirmative, none in the negative, item 32, resolution 26-09, approving the budget adjustment for fiscal year June 30th, 2026 is duly passed.
Mr. Mayor?
Mayor, we have a different.
Yes, Councilor Arnold voted no.
Oh, she said, Councilor Arnold voted, no? I'm sorry.
I don't know, I think she just gave a funny one.
No, because he was talking. So she asked me and I said, no.
Okay. Sorry, ma'am, I thought you said yes.
Okay.
Okay, next we have center manager, reports. What, we got 30 more? I only got.
Council announcements.
Make a statement.
Oh, does any counselor want to make a statement?
I do.
Okay, yeah, Council Lady, is there anyone else? Council Lady Arnold?
I do.
Council Arnold? Oh, excuse me, what am I doing, Halverson? And then Council Corn, anyone else? You can change your mind if you.
Okay, first off, I sent this flyer to everyone, I invite everyone to the Pioneer Bank's 125 years old, and we're having a business after hours this next Thursday from 5:30 to 7, I invite people to that. I'd like to talk briefly on the 250th. First off, I do want to point out, we did try to work with Church on the Move for the fireworks show, and they were receptive to working with us, but they had already set up their event and they couldn't move it. So if we can get a private sponsorship with several sponsors to pay for it and not have the taxpayers pay for the show, I'm so open to that. And if the other fireworks shows want to work with us to create one big show, I'm thrilled about that too. So I just want to point out that this whole thing is to try to be a year-long event to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States, because to me that's super important. So we're having, this weekend is our first events, we're having, first is the flags. People can go, if you go to our Facebook page, there's links to all these. You can adopt a flag or get a flag, it's free, the city bought the flags. You can get a flag for someone in the military or just one of your family members. We'll put your name tag on it and we're going to set them up. The Boy Scouts are going to help as well as volunteers. We're going to try to do this every holiday where we put flags up, President's Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. So that'll be ongoing for the whole year. Mind Probe Trivia is going to have a President's Day trivia for us. The Liberty opened up for us on Monday, so we could do that, so thank you to them. And then we're also going to be taking photos and videos of people who want to be waving the American flag to use for marketing at the Assurance Home. Thank you to the Assurance Home for letting us use that facility from 3 to 5 on President's Day. So that's just the first month. Next month we've got the Robert H. Goddard anniversary we're going to be working with, and we're trying to come up with an event for every month. So it's a year-long thing. That's all I have. Any questions, you can contact me. We do have stuff for sale, as you can see. We just got them today, so I'm proud of it.
Anyone else care to say anything? I would tell the members of the community and the counselors at 2 p.m. Saturday, one of our National Guard troops, I can't remember where they were deployed to, but they're supposed to be coming back to the National Guard at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And you might have to check the time again. Hasn't changed that I know of, but yeah, well, Juliana said she'll let us know, 2 p.m. on Saturday.
It's 12:30. It's 12:30.
It is 12:30? Oh, well, they told me 2 p.m. Okay. It's at the National Guard Armory?
Yes, sir.
12:30. Okay.
Airport send-off?
And the airport send-off is 10. The plane comes in at 10 o'clock, and then we will load the plane and leave about 45 minutes later.
9:30.
9:30 is the send-off?
Right.
Okay, 9:30. And that's on the 17th. Saturday is Valentine's Day, that's how. So, is there any other things to come? Anyone else want to bring anything up before the council, before we?
Councilor Corn.
Oh, who did?
I did.
Oh, okay, Council Lady Arnold.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just wanted to actually simply invite the council to participate in the Council Connection Forum on Tuesday, February 24th, 5:30 to 7. I want to thank the staff for helping put that together. It's been said many times that the community necessarily hasn't had an opportunity to get feedback from us, so there's quarterly forums planned. This first one is about 2026 forward movement and motion, what it looks like moving forward. So anyway, it's at the Backdraft Barbecue, 3rd Street Station. And so, anyway, there's flyers out there, and please help us spread the word, get people out. Thank you.
Dr. Corn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a request of Councilor Gass, and that is, you all have now completed the 5-year reviews that I had lined out for all the departments and stuff. I would ask you to ratify those in some manner. Mr. Nicholas can probably assist you in that. Let's get that done at the next meeting, would be my suggestion. And so, I don't know exactly ratification or adoption or what the language needs to be. But those, our staff worked hard on those. They got lots of good information. We need to codify it and make it part of our budget deliberations. here on. And then next year, you start through again and see what changes need to be made. They're not supposed to be set in stone, they're supposed to be living documents. So you gotta keep going with that.
And Mayor, if I will, yes, and the asset management plan, I think, is a good one to follow as well.
Very good. Yeah.
I think they did a great job, Mayor. The asset management plan by Colvin Morton, wasn't it?
Molson Corbin.
Molson Corbin, head of efforts. They did an excellent job of it, and it's gonna bring us a lot of value following that.
They're pretty good and good.
Oh,
Thank you, Mayor.
nothing else, we put fire trucks afloat? Okay, is there anything else?
City manager.
City manager, go ahead.
All right, actually, if you guys want to hear mine, I can keep it real short. I'll keep it short. I've been here for 9 days, so we'll keep it under 9 minutes. No, as you guys know, we've had to send electrical inspectors to the state. The new one for the city starts May 2nd. That'll speed up building permits. The safety liaison position is opened. I want to comment that last year we were 54% of the New Mexico self-insured fund's total payouts. Now that was flood and fire predominantly, but it's also that our safety programs are getting better. I want to keep that trend. So Councilor Johnson, that safety liaison is just what we're calling our next safety officer.
Okay.
So the safety department, I will be planning on budgeting is 3.5 people next year. Similarly, we had a discussion earlier tonight about increasing revenue, and with that in mind, tomorrow morning we're going to be posting for a grant writer. This is something we've talked about for years. We're going to see how it goes, but you know, if they get $1 million grant, they'll pay for themselves more than 10 times over. Finally, we have finance is looking over a salary schedule for dispatch. So in the next month or two, I will be presenting that to you. We're optimistic that we can get 3 people almost off the bat if we use the higher fee schedule. But I want to see what the numbers look like before we start pillaging the personnel money. We'll also be having some change in duties now that Mr. Matthews has only got 1 councilman, if you can believe that. The fire department is going to be taking over public safety liaison duties, and the police department is going to be absorbing animal welfare like they did in the past. We're going to try it and see how this works, and if it isn't working out, we'll make adjustments. Speaking of fire, they had, is it Steve here? They had 17 recruits make it past the physical and the written. So that's an unbelievable crop and would fill all our vacancies. So we're very excited about that. More information as they hopefully don't flunk out. I want to commend the road crews. As you probably heard, they put out 600 tons of salt for the snow. And then they're filling potholes left and right now. We've ordered another 300,000 tons of salt. I'm optimistic we won't need it for the rest of the year, but you never know. My cherry trees could get ruined. Finally, budget will be delivered in 1 month and a day per the governing resolution on the matter. And just to give you an idea where I'm headed with it, the state general fund revenue estimate as of 2025 was a 2.4% increase in GRT. That would be statewide. In the past 4 years, we've outperformed significantly. In fiscal 23, it was 11.58% year increase. In 24 was 10.5. In 25, it was 11.11. And right now, for fiscal 26, the first 7 months were 18.5% ahead. I'm not going to anticipate a gangbusters year like that. I would much rather go to mid-year and be able to start making adjustments based on good numbers, but I think saying completely flat is not reasonable given the past 4 years of performance. So we're going to stick with the state's 2.4% number. In any case, there are some large numbers that we're going to have to work around. The self-insured fund their premium increased by 1.8 million. By doing some improved investments of our cash balance, though, we were probably going to be able to cover about 1.3 of that off the bat in the new budget. So that's kind of where I'm at. Please give me a call. Oh, I'm sorry, the last thing, we're going to start adding a little newsletter or something in the water bills. Right now, it's tentatively just planned as a, I don't wanna call it a field trip, but community events, things you can get your kids involved in. If you guys have any thoughts, ideas, or we would like to include more, please let me know, and we're gonna have TJ over at Public Affairs spearheading that. So, otherwise, things are going pretty well in Santa Fe. It's a leaner budget up there than it was last year, but I think, the people that are in charge of these decisions seem to be looking at us all right, so I hope we'll have something stronger to report next month when the session's over. Thank you.
Yeah, I might point out up in Santa Fe, when Hess and Bobby and I went up there, we were very well received and people were extremely excited about the air races. And I mean, they helped us a lot on all that. We didn't get a lot of help on flood money, but hopefully that's gonna come in the current year when the budget gets a little better on capital outlay. We might get some this time too, but we did try, but we had, they were extremely elated about how well the air show came off. And we had lots of compliments about how well our city crews worked to get the job done. I mean, so, you know, I know this seems, tonight's a little bit crusty kind of because of all the stuff we have to do, but, you know, we're making a huge difference. Our employees, I think, know that we really care, and I think we know they really care because you can see it in their work ethic. It's very apparent in their work ethic. When you see them patching the holes and fixing stuff, you know, after all that snow on, you know, on Friday afternoon we had the thing, and Saturday, Sunday, and Monday they did all their putting out all that salt. There were very few accidents, and people could get around town very easily because they salted all the intersections. And with that ice on the bottom of the first time, I thought, you know, man, our crews really did a good job, and I have to give them kudos because I think it's, you know, we have a really good bunch, whether it's police department, fire department, solid waste, or, you know, liquid, whatever, water, we have really good crews. So, thank you all. Anything else? You still have 8 minutes left, Hess.
I'm Daryl.
Sitting there.
Yeah.